Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next episode of Death's Curios, our Unhallowed Metropolis post-apocalyptic Victorian horror RPG, where we have a lot going on, which we'll get into very soon. But before we begin our game fully, we've got a little pre-game game of sorts, which is a lot of words to say in that regard. But we have a thing known as the Death's Deal, which is a choose-your-own-adventure style story that we're doing each week. And so far, there's been a few decisions made, at the very least, as we're now on part 4. So, without further ado, we'll get into that. You wandered through your halls until you came across your study, where you while away your hours. And eventually, as the hour grew late, you detected a scratching noise coming from your sturdy door, as if a rat scratching against it continually in an infuriating manner. You decided to investigate the noise. As you approached, your curiosity matched your fear, and you felt your heart thumping in your chest against your ribs. Your hand reached out slowly and opened the door, and as you opened it, you found nothing. But as you turned to go back to your office, your heart slowly calming, your adrenaline dropping slightly, you noticed out of the corner of your eye some footprints, almost as if dirt on the floor, small, childlike. You decided to follow the footprints. They followed through the house, and it wound through your halls, under tables, over the dining room cloth, leaving black footprints all over the clean white cloth. You eventually find them leading into the kitchens, an area that you rarely ever visit. The servants have left for the night, and the kitchen is a place that you aren't too familiar with. And as you slowly edge open the door to look inside, you see a strange sight indeed. A young boy dressed in a dirt-smeared suit, a black suit, with a small dying white rose in his lapel. The figure turns and stares up at you, their eyes a dark pool, with no whites to show, their flesh pale and pulled tight against their cheekbones. They look at you, and you look at them. What do you do? Do you, A, try to communicate with the child, or B, run? Very soon, there'll be a poll that will go up in the chat, and you can vote to decide which one of these options takes your fancy this week. But before then, I'm going to show you a little trailer of our game, and then we're going to jump right on in with the next part of our investigation into the missing artifacts from the Museum of Curios and Occult. We'll see you very soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Death's Curios, our Unhallowed Metropolis game. It's lovely to have you all back here again for another week of spooks and investigations. And we're going to go around, introduce each of our cast members and who they're playing, and then we're going to get right on in with a recap and get right back where we left off last week. So without further ado, we'll go right across to my side here and go with Laurie Lark. Welcome back.
Hi all, it's great to be here again today. Am I muted? Let's check.
Nope, you're fine.
I am not. Woohoo! Alright, so I'm Laurie Lark, and I'll be playing Lady Delilah Berkeley, who is a countess. This time I made sure to say the correct thing, the wife of an earl. We're good. And really looking forward to, later on today, we're gonna, see if Magdalena eats the entire American gang.
Yeah, we definitely will need to see that, that's for sure, as that's going to be an interesting one to see. And Magdalena, speaking of the person about to eat the American gang, how are you doing today? Welcome back.
I don't know if I can eat the entire gang. I might get full before then, but at least deal with them. Let's just say. Yeah. Hi, I'm Lindy, and I'll be playing Magdalena DeVille. Definitely DeVille, nothing else. And she is a dampier and an artist, and currently just had a nice snack last session, and might start off this session with a second snack. It might be a good day for Magdalena. Just good because our art gallery opening today was great. So.
Yeah, unfortunately that didn't pan out quite as well, which is a shame. But speaking of things panning out quite well, Shakespeare, welcome back.
Hello, I am Shakes, also known as Shakespeare, and I'm playing Miss Fairchild, who is a mourner of great repute and very little words, who had great fun being the, I'm going to say, muscle to Miss Griffith's investigative abilities, given that she didn't say very much and mainly just intimidated people into speaking. So yes, I'm very looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out.
Oh, definitely, I'm certainly interested to see how it's all going to pan out today. I mean, Miss Fairchild and Griffiths had a very interesting dynamic duo last week, which was awesome. Speaking of, the second half of the dynamic duo, Tilly Griffiths, welcome back.
Hi, I'm Humbledore. I'll be playing Detective Tilly Griffiths, and I think Miss Fairchild's a little bit harsh on herself. She was kind of like the charm aspect, if anything. When Tilly was getting too snooty, she'd step in. She'd be down to earth. It worked well. She'd soften them up. It's great, without hurting them.
Exactly. And speaking about not hurting people, Doctor, welcome back, Dr. Baruch.
Hey, I'm Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and today I'll be playing Dr. Baruch. And we'll see. The joke was I was going to have to yeet the half-vampire at the mob boss, but we managed to get out of the office. Now, if we can just get out of the speakeasy, that'll be the challenge of the day.
Certainly will be. It'll be the first one that you're going to be encountering today. And speaking of, so last session, our group were investigating a missing artifact from the Museum of the Curious and Occult. And they managed to track down an author of a book who wrote at length on this particular artifact they're looking for. And as they decided to track down this author, who's still alive and living quite nearby, they took a ride there, whilst the other half of the group took a ride elsewhere to go and speak about some murders that had been happening in Whitechapel recently, quite vicious things. The group that went to the author's house discovered his wife and had a lovely chat with her, but found that he hadn't returned home in days, and that it seems that he's gone to a place that Delilah is most familiar with as being a place that the American mob have made their home in Lower London. They decided they would go and make their way there and try and see if they could find out what's happening with this author and what's going on, and when arriving there, they found that he's in quite the pickle. It seems he is in a lot of debt with the American mob, and they've taken to it to teach him a lesson and take him into the back. Magdalena went and had a lovely discussion and a meal with one of the other mobsters, a Johnny, who they went into the back with and had a very nice moment of completely draining them dry, as is a vampires do. And as for Delilah and Varuk, they had an encounter with the boss of the entire American mob, who told them that maybe he'd consider it, as long as Delilah went on a very short dinner with him, and also dealt with a rival of his by the name of Robbie Carr, which they have now decided to do. The other half of our group went and investigated the murders and found out some key facts about them. They found out also that the people that had died in the museum had died merely of a heart attack, but it was strange. There were no other signs of anything else, and both of the guards had it at the exact same time. They also managed to find a few more clues before deciding to go and speak with the mob themselves, and are slowly making their way over to that location now. And that is where we're going to continue, as Magdalena, as you finish up your lovely meal, though it did taste a bit greasy, you managed to turn as the door opened and the massive slab of a man, one of the other members of the mob, stands in the doorway and looks down at you. And, what is it you're exactly doing with Johnny there?
Oh,
Not don't look like normal stuff.
She's gonna look him up and down and be like, he said he was big, strong, tough man, but only lasted 2 minutes before passing out. You, on the other hand. You look like you might be able to handle me.
Considers that for a long moment. I'm on the clock. But
Oh.
if you could make sure that he gets somewhere safe, that would be good. He usually passes out anyway, from what I've heard. So if you can just,
It's quite disappointing.
I've heard that. I get off shift later, but it's much later tonight, and I won't want to annoy the boss. He's a bit sensitive today. I don't tell him I told you that.
Of
Yeah,
course
he's a bit
not.
touchy. So if you could just,
He's not taking it out on you, is he?
No, you don't take it out on me. He's got plenty of people to take it out on. Ricky Bonner, he says, and kind of offers you a meaty hand.
I think she kind of takes it, and she's like, nice meaty hand.
Very
she'd
strong,
always heard that American food was greasy, but now she believes it. And she was like, Magdalena.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Magdalena. You might want to get your way out of here. You're not supposed to be in the back. I'll make sure that he gets where he needs to go, in fact.
Oh, could you? I don't know the way out. He took me back here. It all happened so fast. Would you mind showing me?
Of course I will, he says, and kind of nods. Follow me, he says, and kind of he opens the door for you and gestures with a hand to let you out. Very gentlemanly.
Now, is he in the room currently?
He's kind of outside the room. He's just kind of opened the door and looked in. He's in the doorway, and he's kind of stepped aside and is opening the door and is gesturing with one hand for you to exit.
Yep. Are there any other people in the hallway?
You can see a few. There's a couple of them that have come back to the hallway. You can see a few of them sort of in their suits, sort of jackets off, hats on the side, and they're just kind of having a smoke. And you can see when they've sort of got their jackets off that they have a gun strapped to their side as well. Both of them have one.
Those newfangled contraptions. Ugh. It's disgusting.
Indeed.
Tap into a good crossbow. Whatever, it's fine. She'll let him lead her out. Thank you.
Yeah, he does so. He leads you through the hallways and back out to the main area of the bar as you hear the music kick in once again. And it's about that time.
What time do you get off of work?
Oh, that's around about 8 p.m., I think, in your times, as you call it. So about the time that things get a bit more rowdy here. We have some of the other boys come in. I'm getting a night off. So
lovely.
They're happy to see you, he says, and kind of gives you a smile and then closes the door. And you do see Delilah and Baruch walking out at the same time as this is going on. Possibly a bit paler than when they entered.
Whereas Magdalena looks a lot more. This is probably the most healthy and alive you've seen her this whole time. She's got some color in her cheeks. She looks pep in her step, a little twinkle in her eye. She looks great. Did meeting go well?
It was the next step.
All right. Do we need to just go in there and grab him? Because I saw him.
No, we have Delilah has a date with him, and then we have to take care of.
From what I hear.
And we have to take care of a problem for him.
What kind of take care of problem?
The diplomatic type.
Yeah.
All right then.
By the way, you look quite cheerful.
Yes.
She kind of glances around and kind of puts her fan over to kind of whisper, partake. Then kind of glances her up and down with oh dear.
She goes, I would never. He was such. No, I did have a good drink though.
Okay. Oh goodness. For one second there, I questioned your
She would be so disappointed. No.
Yes, that lovely man. You two make a beautiful couple. Now, speaking of couples, we have a Mr. Robbie Carr, I believe, to meet. And I have a date to prepare for.
Well,
Well,
if you do not
if
want
not
to
for
go
the
on
doctor, it would be
dates,
worse.
let me know.
I'd prefer not to, but it's a bit too much trouble for what it's worth right now.
I could take care of it. How long we have till date? I think there's like a week.
What do you mean?
Yeah, there's like a week. Like, you've got time.
She kind of looks at her and just kind of like pulls her out of the freaking bar
Uh-huh.
because no people can hear you.
And you're pulled
Oh,
into the
yeah.
outside as you do see.
Magdalena definitely would have like hushly said that. I
Yeah.
could take care
Yeah,
of.
she's like, what do you mean by take care of? You do know that Mickey's not very easy to deal with, right?
I imagine he's about as easy to deal with as any other man.
You don't understand. That man is a devil in a pinstripe suit.
All men are devils to a certain extent.
And as you say that,
No.
we'll cut across to the other two. As Tilly and Miss Fairchild, where were you heading? You'd found out that the artifact was apparently known to be at this strange bar that was ran by Americans, from what you'd heard, in the lower district of London. You'd heard that there was activity there with it, that they may know more about it.
Miss Fairchild, you mentioned you had contacts in the lower city, yes?
I've worked some in the lower city, not many of my profession choose to. I've made
And-
some, I wouldn't call them friends, but people know.
I am very hesitant to walk into a headquarters unprepared and just start asking questions. It's not a good look. I was wondering perhaps you could do a little whisper on the wind with your friends and see if they know anything about any artifacts or what shipments may have come in. I need to go and transport this, and she holds up the ice bucket with the heart in. I need to go and get this properly preserved as soon as possible. I need to go to the doctors. So
I can speak to some people. I don't know how much they'll be able to say. It's more of a, if something is on the wind, they'll let me know, rather than asking pertinent questions in impertinent places.
And as you say that, as you're stood outside on the streets, you do hear it on the side street as they spot you, Miss Fairchild.
is this where I leave you, Miss Fairchild?
I think that would be best. Upper London,
You've been-
Lower London.
You've been
Not
a
a good
truly
idea.
wonderful partner to have. I'll see you later and be safe. She gives you a little curtsy and hails down a cab.
She
Yeah, you
repeats
start
the
to.
curtsy.
And as you repeat the curtsy, the gentleman comes up to you. He looks a bit on the rougher end. He's dressed as if he's just come out of work, and he sort of gives you a nod. So, I've heard that you're, working with a few new folks. Posh lady, strange one, painter, and doctor, right?
We take work where we can find it.
Well, I've
especially when
heard
there's
rumours,
debts on the
very
line.
quick rumours, that lot have been seen going into a particular bar. Might think you'd know that. On account of if they're working for the people I think they're working for, you could be in trouble.
This would be some of the less savoury elements from parts foreign, would it?
It would be. Dead Swing Bar. Lovely place, innit? They've been entering, talking to the boss, nonetheless. Just on the wind, of course.
That is interesting.
Maybe.
And much obliged to you.
Much obliged to you too, Miss Fairchild. I hope you're still holding well. I'll no doubt see you in the bar at some point.
At some point.
Of course.
No doubt.
He nods, and then he gets to sort of going back over to the side, and he puts back on his respirator and begins to just seemingly just wait for something.
She kind of takes a couple of steps back without taking her eyes off him,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll find a cab.
Not a problem. You see Tilly is still trying to hail a cab, having great difficulty, it seems.
I will head over to her.
Okay, you head over.
Being short is not very good in London, hitting cabs.
No, and neither is being that clean. I think we
You
may
do see
have.
there are some carriage drivers who are just sat, continuing to have a smoke.
I think I may have something of what you would call a lead, I believe. Or at
What?
least our friends seem to have found the same lead.
Well, leads can be found through different means. That's good news. I'm sure.
I imagine you need to find a place for your items,
Oh yes.
but perhaps we can
It
do
can't be
so.
doing.
And then
It can't be doing just walking around with a carved-out heart. So
there have been stranger things seen in these streets, but no. I think it would be best to find a place to secure them, and then we can go find the rest of our merry band.
merry band. And do you think they're at this bar now?
These words on the wind very rarely come after the fact.
Right.
It would seem they'd be there fairly quickly.
Well, and she actually does have the map of London as well, and she has streetwise. The route to the upper city, does it go past the Dead Swing Bar?
Oh, definitely not. The route to the upper city is always going to be a bit awkward for you. Given you're in the lower end, you'll need to wait until the lifts are being drawn up, which are kind of drawn up at specific times rather than anything else. You could take a route that would take you around there if you were to walk. It's not actually far from where you are now, is the Dead Swing. It's only a couple blocks away, really. Just a couple streets away, really, more than anything else. So it's quite close. The actual exit is a bit of a drive away, however, from Whitechapel. They don't usually put places where the rich would be coming up and down near Whitechapel.
Yeah, that's fair. Estimating how much time do I have before the ice begins to melt?
You've got quite a while. It's been very much kind of like sealed very well. It will stay cooled for quite a while. With how the doctor has sealed it and cooled it, it seems you'll have a few hours at the very least. He seems to know what he's doing when it comes to preserving bits of body.
A little bit suspicious, but still. Okay, well, I have a little time before I really need to get this somewhere more suitable. So perhaps the Dead Swing Bar, I believe, is only 2 blocks away. We could take a nice gander down there.
A passing glance, indeed. And then we can catch a cab back to Upper London. I believe I might have a little more success than you in that endeavour.
I certainly hope so. Shall we?
So you begin to make your way towards the Dead Swing, and it is only a short walk away, around a good 10 minutes, but you walk and you go around the few streets, and you do make it to there just as you see Delilah, Magdalena, and Dr. Varut step out of the bar, looking a bit suspicious as they're sort of whispering to each other a bit. You do see a few of the other patrons outside the bar kind of having a smoke and kind of looking at them a bit side-eyed, like, what are they doing?
Ah! People! Doctor! And
Hello?
she just comes in. Shall we hail down a cab and get back? Doctor, I have something very interesting for you in this jar right here. I'm sure you'd be very happy to look at it.
Indeed. And he's already kind of like, well, you can't say that and not give it to me, but he's like just looking. Also, too, did I notice medically anything different about Magdalena when she came out?
So, as you're looking over her now, then, as she's coming out and she's having a look, could you give me a very quick medicine check, please? So, just a biology check if you got it, or a medicine check if you have that, whichever's going to be better for you.
Yep. Okay. Oh no.
So that's not very
The
good.
lighting
Would you
must
like
be
a second
horrible.
chance on that? You have 2 now
Sure.
as your corruption too, so...
Yeah. Why
Sure,
not?
so you use your first second chance. That gives you a reroll, so go ahead.
All right.
Let's hope.
That's a little
Hey.
better.
That's much better. Okay, so as you're looking over Magdalena, you do see that they seem to have much more of a blush of life about them than before. They seem to have slightly pinker cheeks, and they look to be much more sort of springy in their step. If anything, Magdalena probably looks the healthiest you've ever seen her. Very strange.
Duly
'cause
noted.
It's a very quick switch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
duly
I
noted.
just said I had a drink.
So, Miss Tilly and Miss Fairchild, what became of my driver? You are here on foot.
Oh, we sent him back to the house. We thought you would be staying there.
Ah, yes, we did something very interesting today. We called a cab.
Yes,
Fascinating,
You
isn't
can
it?
tell me all about that when we get in another one, I'm sure. She
I'm
says as
gonna
she flicks
just
her eyes
walk
very
off
obviously
and-
over to the people that
get
are just
a
on the
coach.
wall and gives them a
Yeah.
good evening.
I notice her
Walk off
giving
and find a coach.
like a nod to people on the wall. Magdalena will turn and give them a big smile too.
Yeah, they all look at you and they kind of just give you a nod. There's just a couple of gentlemen outside, just kind of, just a big gaggle outside the bar, and
Mm-hmm.
a bit confused because you're not regulars aside from Delilah. But yeah, they kind of give you a quick nod as well, and then continue to sort of horribly smoke and then put the respirator on as if that's going to make it better. But yes, outside of that, you're all stood outside of the bar right now.
I believe there is business to take care of before leaving.
Yes. Hey, GM.
Mm.
Do we even know where to find Mr. Robbie Carr?
Do I'm the only one who lives in the lower city. Have I heard
You
of
are,
Robbie
so
Carr?
You could give me a streetwise if you're looking for a Robbie Carr.
I don't have street.
Can I also do
If
the
you spoke that
streetwise
out
thing?
line, you can. It will, however, be very difficult for you as you don't really frequent Lower London or associate yourself with the criminal class. So,
What do you want me to roll? Because I don't have streetwise.
and have you asked
I got
everybody
a
that you
streetwise.
spoke the name out loud for everybody else to hear?
I
No,
don't think
not
we
yet.
have yet.
Not yet. No. Okay, cool. In which case,
Yeah.
then just you two.
15.
So on a 15, you've heard the name before, mainly in anger from Mickey when you've been sort of talking to him. He seems to carry that name very close to himself as he continually curses Robbie Carr's name and has many choice words about the man.
Okay.
But aside from that, you don't know much about them. However, Magdalena, with your 6,
You know, I'm gonna try to use a second chance. I have.
Okay,
three
yeah,
ones.
sure. Use second chance. You do have multiple of those.
It's a 6.
Oh my
so
God.
Let's stay with
Wow.
6.
Wow.
Let's just stick with 6 there.
At this particular point, Delilah kind of looks around. It's like, oh, be right back. I do need to go speak to one of the boys. Do you know if Ricky's around? Let's see. She's gonna go back
Oh,
and
he
kind of
is.
open
He
the
gets
doors.
off work at 8.
Well, he's on work. This will definitely be helpful. She kind of checks her little watch and then she goes back in and looks around to find one of the gang members, basically.
It is, if you're looking for Ricky, it isn't hard
I
to
prefer
find
Ricky.
him. Yes, he is a massive slab of a man who is stood at the back, broad-shouldered, sort of very fancy hat on, very clean-shaven. He kind of looks around very imperiously over everybody to make sure nobody's causing trouble. And he notices you as you walk in and he gives you a polite nod as usual, tip of the hat.
Yeah, I'll kind of elegantly weave through the crowd and kind of get to him as, gracefully as I can. Like, so Ricky, I do have a favor to ask of
I didn't
you.
expect to see you so soon.
Well, I wasn't planning to come back until I realized something slipped my mind.
Oh, right.
You know what
Well,
it's like.
by all means, tell me what can I do for you?
Well, Mickey's favorite man in the street.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I need to go speak with him. But the issue is, well, I haven't really gone there to see him myself, I've only heard him in passing.
Yeah,
You know
it's
how
probably
Mickey
for the
speaks so
best it's,
fondly of him.
Yeah, it's probably for the best that you don't meet him. But if you needn't to, then I might know
I
where
have
they're
to. Mickey wants me to meet him.
All right. He kind of takes out takes a piece of paper from behind the counter at the bar and sort of just writes a few things on and then folds it up and hands it to you and goes, I didn't tell you anything about this, okay? If they
Of
ask,
course
I
you didn't.
All right.
Alright, well, I'll buy you a drink next time. Thank you, Ricky.
Make it too.
Of course. She kind of
Yeah,
gives
you
him
got
a
that.
wave. And
Rich husband money, so I think you can afford to, he says, and kind of gives you a bit of a smile.
I certainly can. And then I'll just, I'll sashay off and come back with a little slip to whoever's, actually waving down the cow.
I'm trying to get the coach, just like
Yeah, and it's at
wandering
which
off.
point that the driver has finally finished his cigarette, and he puts it out, and then he puts his hat back on to show that he's back on shift, and then rolls up towards you, and sort of the rickety cart rolls up to you, and he goes, "Where can I take you?"
I pass a note to
Upper
Miss
London.
Fairchild.
Upper London.
Oh.
All right.
And I open the note and say, 1 moment. And then I hand the note up to the coachman. Apologies.
Oh, bloody hell, that's a bit different from Upper London, isn't it? That's the railway bar. That's as far as it goes, that's the opposite. There's Upper London's here, and then the railway bar is here. It's good drink, though. Good drink.
Railway.
Oh,
Good to know.
railway
You,
bar.
you frequent the place often?
I'm supposed to say no, miss, on account of my wife will be very angry, but yes, I do. Don't tell my wife.
I'm not your wife, good sir. I am just, if the drinks are as good
I'm
as
not
you
that
say.
lucky, he says, and kind of smiles a bit at you. No, not at all.
You're
not at
too
all.
kind.
Double. Oh, I know, that's what they call me, kind. Speaking of, do you want to get on board?
Yes. Perhaps you can
And
tell
the
us a
waste
little bit about this bar on the way.
It's not much to tell, but yeah, sure, get on, he says. And as you all sort of get on board, if there's anything else for you to do, let me know now. Otherwise, you get on.
Is it
The
one of
car.
those?
I'm
Is it one of those
actually gonna.
coaches?
It's a very sort of open-topped, rough-looking coach.
I'm actually
I
going to
regret
step up
not having
and
a
sit
parasol.
next to the driver.
Oh, you sit next to the
Ooh.
driver.
Just-
Okay, come on.
Yeah,
Gives you a nod.
I'm just watching his form.
Oh, Miss Fairchild, he says and nods as he gets the horses going, and the cart begins to rock over. And everybody who's in the back, you're getting thrown around quite violently, as it seems one of the wheels of the coach.
just like roads back in home country.
Exactly. One of the wheels, the back left one, seems to be smaller than the others, so it kind of leans off to a side all the time and just continues to do this the entire way as you're getting thrown about like crazy. Luckily, it isn't too long a drive, but on the way, he does kind of look at you. So, yeah, railway bar. Interesting place that. Ran by, I can't remember the name, but there is a bit of criminal activity there, so I'll be careful. Of course, police know about it, but they won't do anything about it. I mean, it's not their remit, and well, they're all right sorts. They're all right sorts. You stay out of their way, they'll stay out of yours, and you don't have any trouble. But yes, quite nice bar other than that. Well, I say nice, it's nice for down here. Has clean sides, you see, and the drinks are quite pure. They get some good alcohol in there, some good drinks in there, and good food, I've heard. Every now and then it doesn't food poison you, which is pretty good for down here food-wise. Aside from that, you'll also find that it's quite busy throughout the day and evening. It doesn't really stop. I think they only close for an hour a day, about 4 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Do they do a good whiskey, sir? I'm finding myself in need of a top-up.
Yeah, they do. They have a few whiskies there, I think. Some interesting stuff. Very expensive, though, whiskey, and exactly cheap down here. I don't know what it's like up there, but I don't really get to drink up there. Everything's a bit too expensive, but yeah.
Well, how about this, my good sir? If I bring you back a drink, will you please stay around and then transport us to Upper London?
Yeah, I'll do that. That's paying me for my
Because
time. well.
finding a cab in this place, I'm often overlooked. It's quite
Well,
upsetting,
happy
really.
out. Yeah, well, I'm happy out. Name's Clancy, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure, Clancy.
That's fine.
I'll bring you back a little nip of whiskey. No drinking until after we've gone to the place. Okay?
Whatever you say, miss.
Indeed.
And then he looks at Miss Fairchild like, she's serious?
It's just an eyebrow raise.
Okay. So you manage to roll up towards the railway, and as you do, you see quite a rough turn of environments as the streets get narrower and the buildings get taller and older than you used to. And as you approach, you do see there is an old railway track that's there, half built, that runs through what looks to be an old railway station. And just inside the station seems to be where the bar is, as they've converted the part of it into an actual bar. It's a very interesting place. It looks very rough and tumble, and there are quite a few different types out there, from working sorts who've been a day, working manual labor, who is sat having a pint outside and once one of the tables or barrels has been placed out, to other people who seem to be there in more social wear, wearing nicer clothes and having a nice drink and chatting to each other, and even with the rougher types. It seems to be a strange mix-max of everything. We do see a few people on the outside, 2 people flanking the main door into the actual establishment, who do look better dressed than a lot of the rest, but still not quite what you'd expect for, say, Upper London, for example. But they have waistcoats, which is quite fancy for down here.
Once we gather together, Dr. Verrucht will say to Tilly and Miss Fairchild, he'll lean in conspiratorially, and we are looking for Mr. Robbie Carr. I don't know if you know him, but supposedly he is a rival or some such of the mobster, Mickey.
And who are you asking this to again, sorry?
No, I'm not asking. I'm telling Tilly and Miss Fairchild because they don't know why we're here.
Thank God. I was going to say. Okay. So you told them that along the way. Okay. So you've both been told that.
Do I know Robbie Carr?
You can give me a streetwise, please.
Okay.
And Miss Fairchild, you too can give me a streetwise.
I don't have streetwise.
You can just give me a base 2d10s then, if that's okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, 17.
You recognize the name, Miss Fairchild. You've heard it go around a lot. You know that it's usually thrown around in relation to one of the local gangs, one of the British ones that's around here. As for you, Tilly, yes, you remember multiple crimes that seem to have been involved with this person, from drug smuggling to what seems to be aggravated assault and the like. There's a lot of rough crimes around here, and it seems that name is tied up with quite a few of them.
Mm-hmm. Do any know anything about the man personally?
No, the name's spread a lot, but not actually any other details.
Okay.
A lot of people don't talk about him, at least not in the places you usually mingle in. And a lot of lower classes don't speak to you about it.
Oh, of course. Well, it'd be nice to put a face to the rap sheet.
As we're stepping down from the coach, I'm going to give Clancy double his fare and just lean and say, "Do get that wheel fixed. It's rather dangerous."
I just wobble down as she says that.
With a smile, like.
I'll tell you what, I will get that fixed, Miss Fairchild. Thank you so much, he says, and kind of gives you a nod. Now you be safe in there, all right?
I'll do my best, and I take my time getting down off the coach because canes.
Yeah.
Tilly will help you down.
Help down by Tilly.
Yeah, no.
Could you please help me as well?
I sure can help.
Whatever you like.
Very gratefully, she will refuse the help.
No,
you just step down slowly.
I'd be happy to accept the help.
She just hops down.
Quite nimble, Mr. Bill.
I am in very good mood. They had a lovely drink at the bar.
You had a drink at the bar. Which drink did you have?
It was lovely red wine vintage.
Red wine vintage, I'm sure.
Oh, is it perhaps something like a red perilla extract?
Perhaps. What was his name?
They have such anti-aging properties. There's
a small one. He bought it for me, so.
Oh, that's strange. He's never really had much good taste. Wow.
I think he was trying to impress.
She just looks a bit confused. Even then, goodness. This is the first time I've ever heard him treat a woman right. Well, regardless. All right, face on. She kind of just like taps her face and just, squares her shoulder and just walks into the room.
Before we walk in, what are we doing exactly?
Oh, we're just going to go find Mr. R and go speak with him.
Mr. Carr.
Mr. R. Mr. R.
Very different, I think.
Of course, we will.
What is our goal again?
Yes, please do tell.
To do so. Ah, right. We should probably do that. Yeah, sorry. I'm just in such a hurry, with everything and going together. Are people around us in the front?
I had tried to gather us once we got off the cart.
Yes, you're gathered off the cart. There are people, but they're not really paying attention to you. A lot of them seem to just be at the bar itself, which is a little bit further away. It's a little bit of a walk. It seems that your driver didn't want to pull up outside the bar. He pulled out basically on the street of it, rather than outside.
Alright. So we can, like, lightly stroll and converse quietly, basically.
Converse quietly, yeah, for sure.
Alright. So basically what ended up happening over there at Mickey's, the dead
Hands
swing.
man. Oh yes, that's a dead swing.
Yes,
Very
so
fitting name.
this is where our author is being kept. He unfortunately liked his drink quite a little bit too much, and now he's not
He did
paying
not
back
look
his
great.
debts.
A lot of swelling in face.
In exchange for getting him back with most of him intact and sound of mind, we are here to speak with Mr. Robbie Carr to ask him to step out of Mickey's business for a little bit. And then, of course, something else. But most importantly, oh yes, she kind of looks over at Miss Fairchild. Mickey is the owner of the bar. Dead Swing. In case you were wondering.
Good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Quite a
very
goose chase for favours, I think. But we'll see how it goes, I suppose. Although, if there is, you're an eyewitness. She turns to Deville, and you've seen this author being kept and assaulted. He is technically part of the upper end. I'm sure a word to the Metropolitan Police above might spur them on just to retrieve him without the need of being indebted to another part of the criminal element.
I look at Tilly just with like the most dead eyes ever.
I see.
The police want to.
And I live in this side of town, so,
Miss Griffiths, the constabulary rarely involve themselves with the worst of the so-called criminal element. They'd much rather prefer to be alive.
It's most unfortunate, really, but when they're striking out so boldly against the upper class, one would really think they would try and
have to be more upper class for them to care.
I glance over at Tilly, just like, that's why I've hired you.
He's old writing man. Not many people will care very much about him.
Anyway, so we should get head in before, he loses more fingers or something. Right. She, flops up her hair, makes it all nice, and, checks her lipsticks and, heads on in.
Okay, so you fluff yourself up and get ready to peacock everywhere, and get ready to show yourself off. But you approach, and as you do, most of the patrons sort of give you a nod, and other than that, continue the business of drinking and chatting. And some of them have got some food. They seem to be kind of eating, mostly curry, things like that. And you do see that there are two people at the front door to the establishment. Both of them wearing sort of plaid. Looking slightly worn waistcoats, some brown trousers, and white shirts with their sleeves rolled up, from what you can tell. And they both nod at you as you turn up.
Hi. What time of the day is it? Oh, good evening. I take it from your matching outfits and your positions through the door that the two of you work here?
Aye, we're the doormen, miss. We're here to make sure that everything goes smoothly. What can I do for you? You look like you're a bit lost.
Well,
There's rough tracks in this area. You best be careful with
I
that.
think I'm in the right place. I'm looking for Mr. Robbie Carr. He smiles.
Magdalena's just nodding ever since they said doorman. Like, yes, this is a very appropriate title for these two. See that? They get it.
They are doormen.
They're doormen. They're men by door.
The door.
One of them kind of looks at the other one. I think we should let him. All right, yeah.
It's in regards to a mutual acquaintance of ours.
Continue.
A gentleman, an American gentleman pinstripe suit.
Right. And why should we let you in then?
Because I have news regarding to him. And in a way, I'm perhaps a messenger. Not the most ideal, but...
I see. Sort of
Do
looks
you
over
do
his shoulder.
soft drinks in there? I'm really quite thirsty. Can we come in,
Oh,
please?
Yes,
Yeah, we
I
do.
could use
We
another
do.
drink.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, head on in.
Please?
I'll tell the boss that you're here. One of them says and kind of gestures to head in with him. He takes you in.
Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen.
And as you do, he also turns to Delilah and goes, you best keep that sort of talk off your mouth around here until you're inside a bit deeper. You don't want to get confused with somebody who's working with them.
Oh, of course not. I'd prefer not to. In fact, I'd rather never know him ever again. But still, thank you very much for letting us in.
You're most welcome. I'll go and find the boss. You go and get situated by the bar. There's a table over there in the corner. Booth table. Go and take it. He says and kind of
Thank
nods
you.
at you all. Get what drinks you want. Don't pay. Tell him boss will cover it. He says and he heads in.
Magdalena
And
cinches
Jonathan
up her
Rowe, now.
crackers.
There's a bit of a different feel to this one. There is some music playing, but less. There's a lot of people. There's like the hum of voices talking in there, sort of keeping to themselves. Much more than standing up and walking around and socializing. They're mainly at their own tables. They're chatting. They're having a drink. They're having a meal, and they seem to not really care about you being there. And it's very
That's
contrasting.
wonderful.
Before. There is indeed a booth in the corner, which seems to be turned away from the rest, sort of part of the wall coming into it, making it a very private booth, just by the side of the bar. And there is a lady behind the bar who seems to have very sort of dirty blonde-looking hair that's tied back, and she's wearing a very nice gown and a jacket on the top. As she kind of looks over to you all and gives you a nod. What can I do for you? You look like you're a bit lost, but I'm guessing you're here for a meeting, from what I heard over there.
Indeed.
She smells fine.
Right, okay. Well, what can I do for you then? What drinks do you need?
Could I
Just
perhaps have a
regular
look
gin and
in?
tonic would be lovely.
My apologies. Go ahead.
Gin and what?
Just a lovely gin and tonic.
Right. We have gin. I don't know what this tonic is you're speaking of, but we have gin.
All right. I
It's gin and
forgot.
gin.
I'm not. Oh. Do you have any sparkling water then? Oh dear. She kind of realizes she's not friendly, like, and then the tent swing and it's like, apple teeny? No?
I'll get you some gin and a bit of apple juice in it, she says, and kind of gives you a bit of a squint and looks at the rest of you. Oh, what about the rest of you?
Gin would be fine.
Gin? Yeah, that's fine. I got that.
A scotch.
Scotch?
Could I
Right,
have a-
yeah, sure.
Oh, this whiskey, please.
Whiskey? Yes, of course, no problem.
Thank you.
Well, what do you say?
Wine?
Yes, we have plenty
Red
of that.
wine?
Red, yep, that's fine. All right, good. She says, and she goes and gets the drinks ready for you and kind of passes them over the counter to each of you. And you do either get like a, what looks to be a glass and then some sort of apple juice they find somewhere and they just pour it in and give it to you.
Yeah, she just looks at it like, thank you. As soon
There's
as
some
the
bits
lady
in that.
leaves, she'll just like,
Sure, it's fine.
yes, of course. As soon as she leaves, though, she'll kind of look very confused at the all the English people and like the Europeans. Like, do you not drink mixed drinks? Do you not mix your drinks at all?
No, we
No,
don't
no
really know about
cocktails?
it. You do remember, Miss Burfish.
But yes, but
I've heard of cocktails, but not in drink form.
she looks over at you and just blushes beet red and hides her face behind a fan. Oh, I have no quip for that, unfortunately. Oh my!
I was being serious.
It's about that time that the gentleman who left you before comes back and nods to you all. If you don't go take a seat at the booth, we'll be there in just a minute. Boss is coming out for you now.
And
you
can I
can,
take a
Girl
very
just
small plate
like
sip?
lifts her glass, downs it, puts it down, and goes over to the booth.
okay, no problem at all. And he walks away and goes, Shauna, what can I do for you? Could you get boss a pint, please? Yeah, of course I can, she says. And she gets a pint and kind of hands it over. It's got plenty of head on it, plenty of foam. And she kind of hands it over and he pops it on the place that's across the table from where most of you will be sitting. And soon afterwards, the door opens from the back side of the counter, and out steps a gentleman of decent height, quite broad shoulders. His sleeves are rolled up, and he's wearing, at the moment, what looks to be a sort of beige waistcoat that's kind of clipped together, and his hair is swept back and quite short. He's got a very short beard. And he kind of looks at all of you and gives you a nod before he sits down. And the table sort of creaks slightly as he kind of leans his elbow on it and grabs his pint before taking a quite big gulp and leaving a bit of foam on his moustache before he kind of wipes it off. So you've been asking about me. What can I do for you?
Yes.
It's,
She just curtsies, and my name is Delilah Berkeley.
right.
I'm here to speak to you in relation to our mutual friend.
All right, well, I don't think I have many mutual friends from where you're from, so you're speaking about.
I'm sure you know about, Michael Dillinger.
Oh, Mickey. Yeah, we know
Yes,
about Mickey.
Mickey.
Yeah, little Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know about him. He stays and kind of has another drink. So what's he doing? Sending me another ultimatum or telling me, oh, don't go and kill my boys again, Robbie? Don't do that, because that ain't stopping.
Well, it's a little bit of that and a little bit of incentive, actually, this time. I know how Mickey can get. He just gets, oh, don't do this or I'll punish you, and that's not fun, now is it?
Oh, sounds a bit weird. He's got some strange habits, hasn't he?
He's
Well,
got
don't get me wrong,
plenty of strange habits.
I've got some friends with some
No.
very strange habits, but
Indeed, such as sending us here to speak to you, for him. But still, have you heard of the recent, well, actually what happened today, earlier? The news.
which one?
The murders.
Oh, yeah, the murders. Yeah, I read about murders. Well, it
Yes, the
happens.
dreadful
It's
business.
bad, but it is pretty bad
Yes.
for business. Yeah.
Now, do you know anything about things called Curios, Mr. Robbie? You seem smart.
Well, thank you. I am a bit, but I won't toot my own horn about it. Curious, what do you mean by that? Like, that you're curious about something, or do you mean like antiquities, as they call them?
Like antiquities, in a way, but with these strange and interesting properties. You see,
What,
there
like,
was an
sort
exhibit that opened quite recently. The Curios, little exhibit. Lovely, by the way. Magdalena over there does fantastic painting for it.
Yes.
Now, a couple
That's
of
a
these were
museum.
missing. A couple of these went missing, and
From the
our
Museum of
employer,
Curios and Occult.
yes.
I heard about that place is opening, yeah. I heard some bits about it, but I haven't exactly had the time to check it out fully. It's not a sort of place that I get to go to more often than not. Upper London's got a bit of a thing against, letting us in, at least when they know about it. So, what is it exactly you're looking for? Because there's a few things like that that get sold down here. There's a couple little relics and stuff of the past, all that kind of stuff. It gets sold quite often down here in the right places. Not really my remit, but I know people.
Of course. So, we do have reason to believe that one of these things, a particular mask, is involved with the deaths that are not so very good for business, as you put it.
No. Death dreadful for business unless it's for settling schools. So,
Yeah, just
Murder's
to
not fun.
Slightly, a little bit of an update on that. We think it might be the dagger that would have involved in the most recent murders.
Oh.
So if there's a strange
dear.
dagger going around, that might also be a problem.
strange dagger.
Well-
Says another thing about that.
Mhm.
I haven't heard about that.
Yes, it would probably be around same timeline as, and you see Magdalena reaches into one of her pockets, because she's got divided skirts, and she pulls out. You hear some unbuckling, and she pulls out a sword, an antique sword. It looks to be probably. She goes, "This is about probably similar age, and probably similar make."
Yes.
And she just puts it on the table. It's a
Most
nice
impressive, Mr.
leash.
Dill. I did not know you carried that on you.
Indeed.
It's what I keep under skirt.
Yes.
You have it well.
Very useful skirts.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Well-
guys.
Still, Mr. Do you mind if I call you Robbie?
Hi, call me Robbie. That's what everybody else
Jesus,
calls me.
thank
Yeah,
you.
Robbie.
Of course.
Mr. Carr is
So,
his
Mr.
father.
Robbie.
So,
All right, then Robbie. Call me Delilah then. See how... So this is rather important business. Now, where it actually, gets related to our mutual friend here is that there is a particular author who has written quite extensively on these artifacts. We're hoping to speak with him. However, he's gotten into a little bit of trouble, you see, with our friend Mickey.
right.
And he's holding him right there.
Is he? All right, who's the author?
Mhm.
What's his name?
I glance over at the more studied guys. I'm like, I'm a bit
He's,
focused on this right now.
Mr. Clyde.
Mr. Clyde Fleming.
Oh, Mr. Fleming. Yeah, I know Mr. Fleming. He's good. He writes some of them...
Penny
Denny
Dreadfuls.
Yeah,
Do
Penny
you read?
Yeah.
Do you read them?
When I get the chance, yeah. I have a couple of times.
He has some wonderful ones, some ones in his private collection that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
not
surprised it's been taken in so well. I mean, that's pretty bad of him. Can't be going nicking our authors. That's hardly on, is it?
I know.
Yes.
Apparently, he had
Simply
some debts.
doesn't do to have good Englishmen in the hands of foreign stock. And she just
Sadly.
looks at Miss Berkeley as like, no offense.
Yeah, the
Don't
Americans
do
are
it.
pretty aggressive. I mean,
Magdalena kinda looks
away in the city, but it's one of those things. They've been overstepping quite a bit, so...
She leans in a little bit. Robbie, I don't mean to make you
Is that
uncomfortable.
voice bar? They won't exactly...
I know it's just a habit of mine.
We can
But
do it
they
if
are
he leans
they are
forward. and-
getting violent to a point where Whitechapel are actually planning on doing something about it, and that might involve everyone down here, not just them. It might affect
Yeah,
your business.
They said that about me about a year ago, and then a year before that, and then a year before that. Things about
Mr.
white,
Carr,
they don't do shit. Yeah? He says a kettle leans
Carr.
backwards again.
I don't know if you were around when the trouble started 20 years ago. Do you remember the panic? Do you remember the constabulary being in every building in the street?
I do
Because
remember
they
that
couldn't
much.
not be. The constabulary are considering a same course of action given the violence of the recent murders. We are trying to avoid such action, as it would be in no one's good interest. It would be in no one's good interest for the people and the police to clash in such a manner again.
Indeed.
Riot
Charm.
served nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a charm check on that then, please, Miss Fairchild? With a +2.
Oh, no.
It's convincing you played 2.
Okay.
Yes!
Which are useful, so...
Miss Fairchild is such
Okay.
like the good police, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in you. Oh my goodness. Hell yeah.
Wow, Miss Fairchild, as talkative as always, despite your profession of mourner. As you talk to Robbie, you mention that, and he does kind of consider it. And at first, he looks a bit skeptical. Like, you can tell on his face, he's like, yeah, right, they're not going to do shit. And then when you mention that, and you talk about 20 years ago, and you talk about everything that happened, he sort of mulls it for a second, and sort of sits back and takes another drink of his pint, and puts it down. All right, Miss Fairchild, you got a point there.
Mm-hmm. So,
You're
Robbie,
supposed
now that you
to
see
have
how...
a bit of a reputation for sense, Miss Fairchild, from what I've heard. The birds and all that, they tell me about it on the wind, as they always do, as I'm sure you know. Seems
Words
you're...
on the wind work both ways.
They do, Miss Fairchild. It's a good thing to use, he says, and has another drink. All right. What can I do to help you?
Well, you see, Mickey has agreed to let the author go, so we may further investigate this. But only if you, in his words, back off for a week.
He sort of sits back at that and just looks like he's heard the funniest joke. Right, yeah. Yeah,
He's
of course he
serious,
says that.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Indeed.
See, I don't know what it's like where you come from, Miss... What's your name?
Delilah.
Delilah, right, well, Miss D. There ain't exactly the same way that things go down here. You see, Mickey, he went and did something stupid. He went and killed a few of my boys last week. And so he's now saying to back off because we've got something planned. He's saying to back off so they can basically hit us with nothing happening. And what's to say that he doesn't do that whilst we sit back and do nothing and sit on our asses?
I
it don't
imagine
matter.
So
when you
this
said
is
back
like-
off doesn't mean you can't defend yourself.
You seem to misinterpret what he's trying to get at you. They always try and make deals. We've had 3 or 4 of them made in the past, and each one's turned sour. The difference is, the other gangs, they were taken down. Mine, it remains. That's his problem, you see. He's got a problem with it still being about. We don't trust him.
So
Do you not have
this
a
is
sort of
gang.
Do you not have a sort of modus operandi of these people then? You've watched them for so long, you know exactly how they work, you've seen them take down the other gangs. Can you not just... I'm not saying it's easy for you, Robbie, but could you perhaps, if you know the way they work and that are so aggressive, trap them in some way? On your own turf, of course, rather than strike out at them as they, well, would want.
Well, they don't want us to strike out, and that's what I'm saying.
But you said they were planning something against you. What form would that take?
I said they would, if they have the time. I'm planning something against them. And it's just about to happen.
Well, all these plans, wouldn't they just all go to waste if, what ends up happening happens? If we cannot get
I'm
the
intrigued
author?
in these battle plans. Do continue.
True.
Where will you
Yes,
put cavalry?
same.
Yes. You
Or
have
you
war
put
map.
cavalry. Oh my
You
god.
have war map for this battle.
So you place archers at the back, and then...
Yes, I am very good at this. I've done it many times.
Okay, so away from the flashback
Strategy.
to Warlord Mandolina, away from that, in the good old early days, in the old country of you riding into battle, Robbie kind of looks at you and kind of, I've got some plans. But no, it's true. What Miss Fairchild says is very true. There will be panic in the streets. We will have to deal with that. So we're going to have to do some things about that as it is. Though as far as I see it, their murders and what we're doing is completely different. Our lot know what we do. They know to stay out of our way. They know it'll protect them as long as they're around here and as long as they don't do us dirty. They keep things clean. We handle the rest.
Did you know the 2 ladies and the Mr. Traveller that was murdered?
You mean the corpses, the deaders?
Yes.
The ones in Whitechapel? I knew of them, yes.
What were their
2 of them
names?
worked.
Sir? The
Names.
coroners don't have a name, and I feel very sad. Very sad
Well,
indeed about that.
I think I know the 2 that you're on about. They worked at a place I know of. It was one of the old territories gangs, one of the houses, the business houses, as they like to call them nowadays. In one of those places, one of the parlours up, I believe, closer to Mickey's end of town, just about in the middle of our territories. There's a place that's known as the Yellow Rose. Quite an interesting name. You'll see it, big sign, Yellow Rose on it. It used to be a botanist shop. Nowadays, it ain't flowers they sell. As
No.
far as I'm aware, a lot of them are from there. I don't know which ones it is, but you'll find out who from there.
And
Quite
the
easy.
Mr. Traveller, did you know anything about him?
Mr. Traveller. Are you the one that went around and spent all his money?
I honestly don't know. I can give you a very unfortunate description of the man from what I saw of him.
He kind of looks at the bar and goes, "Sure." And she goes, "I ain't not going to do for you." Do you remember Mr. Traveller? And she leans on the counter for a moment and has a think and sort of clicks her tongue a bit. "Oh, I do actually, yes. I think I remember him. He came through for a few drinks, didn't he? About a couple of weeks back. With, you know who?" "Oh, yeah, I do. Robbed him blind. But, that is what she does." That is. All right. Okay, so I might know you, Mr. Traveller.
Okay.
An associate of mine would know him probably a bit better about his actions, but she's sadly out of town.
Mr. Carr,
Aye.
when you say out of town, how far away? And are they on official business?
Oh, very official business, I've heard. Yeah, very official. I sent a right weird lot up there. Yeah, they're going to
And I
York.
think I can do you a favour, Mr. Carr. Just
Yeah,
a
I'm
small
listening.
one. You need to send... If I think they're on the business of a Lady Redthorn, then you need to send word to them.
And
Probably not
what
to come
word
back.
is that?
Not to come back.
Not to come back. That's big words, Miss Griffiths. Why do you think they can't come back? Redthorn's known to be a bit of a difficult one, but not that difficult.
I think she has things in mind for them that aren't healthy. I spoke with her, you see.
Are we speaking
She
like
said
a
that she'd be quite
party
busy
or?
No, she spoke
speaking
with
that
me. She said that she'll be quite busy soon with problems out of town. Just the phrase
Right.
struck me. And there's rumours about her methods, you see.
I've heard him. He nods and kind of sits back and looks a bit more dour on that one as he considers for a minute. Curious you're looking for. What do they look like? What is the one you're looking for? What do you think Mickey and that lot know? I might have something on it. I need to know what the item is.
They have the author who knows more. As for what they know, we haven't really spoken to them about it yet.
The author, maybe they got information and got item for sales.
And what is the item?
There are 3 items missing. One of a mask that is quite nondescript, but melds seamlessly with the flesh when put on, it seems. There is a dagger, as Miss DeVille has sort of outlined.
The museum. It is from my home country, Romania. So it'd be in similar fashion to this, most likely. Probably similar century.
Right.
And most probably a crown.
Yes.
Crown.
Crown, indeed.
So I might know about one of them. I might know of at least one of them. It's to do with your boy Mickey as well. He says that he takes another drink. You heard about the auction coming up. There's a few underground ones, probably not spoken in much circles. Maybe Miss Fairchild might have heard of them. But there's a few auctions coming up. Things from the old world, from the old city. You know, when it was all rebuilt. There was a lot of stuff left behind that people nicked, hid away. Some of the rich folk, they're really into that kind of stuff. You know what they're like. They'll pay top money for stuff like that.
Scavengers make a lot of money.
Indeed, they do. Or at least the people who market it better after the scavengers are paid. But from what I hear, there's going to be an auction going down near Mickey's End. He's arranging one underground in one of the old tunnels.
Of course he is.
Now, it's very exclusive, and you have to have a good bit of money to get in. But if you're looking for that, I can't give you information on the mask. I know bloody nothing about it, but I can at least get you a way in there.
That would be very helpful.
It's all right.
Yes, please.
Good. I'll see what I can do. I'll get my boys on it, and I'll get you some
Much
tickets.
obliged.
Like, I say tickets, so I'll get word out that you're coming. I think if Mickey's so nice with you, Delilah, then maybe it'll be all right. You might be like, oh, she's coming. That's exciting. So, you know.
But I suppose you can't have any way to help us with the author.
Got ways. Might not like them, but I've got ways.
Yes. Please give me your battle plans. I would like to discuss strategy.
If we are wholly illegal, can I please just step away and have another drink?
Yeah, of course you can. He says, on me.
Thank you very
Get what you like.
Thank you very much, sir. Most obliged.
And you step up and go to get a drink, and Shauna kind of looks at you from behind the counter still and just kind of goes, oh, is it getting a bit too heated over there?
Oh, slightly, yes. I'm a bit of a delicate disposition when it comes to that. Can I just have something gentle on the stomach, if you've got anything?
Right, yes, we have some things, she says, and she kind of goes behind the counter and pours you something and goes, here's a cider for you. That'll be nice and easy for you. Bit easier on the stomach than some of the hardest stuff we have here.
Thank you very much. Don't want to nip on the whiskey too much.
And as you say that,
Shauna,
one of the drunks, Shauna, yes, one of the drunks that's kind of sat by the counter goes, are you there? The cat detective.
Sorry, what was that? You're slurring, dear.
Cat detective. I remember you.
Oh, yes, the feline. Yes.
You scaling the pipe. It was like a cat.
You did
And
see
were
that?
like, go down, Mrs. Ruffles. And the cat was like, no, mate. And then you climbed up There you got the cat. It was pretty good. I remember that. You were a cat detective, you are. That is a cat detective, he says that again. Like, looks over to another few tables, and the tables look back at you and go, well, that's the cat detective you talk about. I've heard about her, yeah. And then they start to gather, and you've got a bit of a gaggle of people who are all around you asking questions.
Well, this will provide a lovely distraction. Do you want to know how I found the final one?
Oh, yeah, they all say, sort of all 10 of them intently.
And I'll tell them
looking
like this twisting tale about that led me into the depths of a dusty author's home, or a dusty artist's home. And it was sat in the lap of the author, and like, just
That's fine.
embellishing.
Give me a check, or if you've got performance in any way or acting, could you give me a check on that?
I don't think I have acting or anything.
Otherwise, just a pure charm.
Pure charm. I've only got etiquette, I'm afraid.
Etiquette won't help you here, I'm sorry to say. In this case, just charm.
Okay. Charm.
You can have a +2 for your reputation as the cat detective.
I don't want to be the cat detective.
Cat detective.
You can want what you want.
Oh, not -5. That's +5.
Yeah, that's
18.
a very hard roll on
Ideally.
yourself. Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
on an 18. So on an 18, they're all taken in by your tale as you tell them all about your sort of journey, and like a lot of them are like, oh, why? And they're asking you questions in between. It's like, dusty. What kind of dust was it? Was it like thick grey dust, or was it like dust that's brown a bit, or what was it? And
It's
some of
like a
them are
reddish tinge. A little bit like
Oh.
rust.
like a rusty dust. That's good. That is. I like that. That's very good. Yeah. Rust dust. Yeah. Right. And they keep on asking you a lot of questions as they're like, all right, well, yeah, but what about? Right. He said it was with this artist. Which one was it? Was it that weird one who lives in the house at the edge of town?
It might be.
Yeah. I've heard things about her. Yeah, I've heard many things about her.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, I've heard she steals sheep from one of the farms down the road. I've heard she steals 2 of them every month. And they go missing and they come back dead.
Oh my.
Strange
Yes,
as
sheep.
things.
Quite a commodity. Mm-hmm.
Sheep are a commodity. You don't get many of them. You know, these people, they get 2 every year. Sometimes 3. They sell that one, they have 2. That's how math works. And then, when them 2 go missing, they have 1. And then his mate turns around and goes, they have 0, mate. 0. And that's how it works. And then every single time, 2 more sheep appear. And then another one appears, and they sell one off at a premium.
Well,
And
I can
then-
tell you right now, I don't think she has a barnyard to keep all these sheep, so we can speculate on where she might keep them.
Or she kills them.
Well, how
She
would she
eats
do
them.
that? She
With a-
eats them.
With a bottle. I don't know. I don't kill sheep. You're the
Not
detective,
saying.
cat detective. You tell me how she does it.
How would I kill a sheep? How would you kill a sheep? How would we kill a sheep? We'll speculate on that for a while they're having the conversation.
Yeah, so you're having like a conversation as you're sort of throwing back ideas about how to kill sheep and how you'd hide the bodies and all sorts of really grim things that you continue to do. And as you're doing this, the conversation continues at the table as Robbie looks over you all. All right. So
Yes.
we're aiming to hit them hard where they live. So we're aiming to hit them where they're strongest, so to speak. They won't expect that. Dead Swing Bar. Got a few lads scouting the place now.
Yes.
We
We were
got-
there earlier. They seem very greasy. I am much more partial to you. I think.
Oh, thank you. He says and kind of gives you a nod. Quite partial to you too. But besides that point, he says as he kind of looks over you all. I might have a way to get your lad out. Let's just say it won't be clean. Let's just say it's going to be violent. And let's say it's going to really piss him off.
That's not very good for me, but that would work.
Good. You see, we have a man on the inside. It's quite easy to buy off, actually. Name's John. He's a bit of a sleazeball, but he's got his way in. He's going to open the back doors for us. We're going to go in. We're going to take out the author if that's who they're keeping there, and we're going to strike him hard. We're not going to directly go for Mickey yet. That's going to happen in a week or 2.
What if Johnny is not there?
Then we'll find him.
I kind of just looked disgusted for a moment as I remember that Magdalena had a drink with them. Then I look confused as I just look at her like, did you?
Did I what?
Oh, nothing, dear. Nothing. Just like the face, like the thousand deer stare. She's like, oh my god, what if she's saying this because they fornicated?
Wasn't
Just
expecting
like very.
There's being
It's all
polite, and
bad.
then there's what if they fornicated?
I thought she was trying to say maybe she killed him, and I was just like, wait, do we know that?
No.
You just said fornicate. I was like, oh, okay. My brain was going in a completely different direction.
Yeah, just like.
And the doctor then actually is thrown more off the trail of Magdalena's vampirism because he's like, oh, that makes sense. And he
He's not
scribbles
going to
himself
be
a
up
note.
for anything anytime soon.
And
Oh.
right. Do you kill him? He says he kind of looks at you in the eye and just kind of takes another drink of his beer.
Oh, I had not thought of that. Oh, thank goodness.
Did I kill him? It's very funny.
Did you? That's such a yes. He says he sits back. Look, I know better liars than you, trust me.
So you.
All right,
Oh.
so Johnny's dead. That's unfortunate.
Johnny's dead, but Ricky gets off at 8. I'm pretty sure when he
Look,
opened back door.
As far as it goes,
we could
people who are loyal
go in.
to me. Ricky is the most loyal son of a bitch I've ever met.
Yes, but he's
Ricky's a
meeting me after
sweet
he gets
soul.
off work at 8.
Right, yeah, and then you're going to off him like you did Johnny, are you?
If we needed to.
You know, I need to ask.
Maybe.
On account of you doing the killing and all that, do you steal sheep?
Do I? No,
Pardon?
sheep are disgusting.
Do you just kill
She
them?
looks genuinely repulsed. I don't even like to wear wool.
Right, I solved a few things. Thank you. Yeah, it's been on our backs for a few months now. All right.
Sheep thief?
Yeah, there's a rumor
Sheep
going about that
murderer.
you steal sheep all the time.
That is
steal them.
terrible. I guess it could be worse rumors.
He looks at you and then kind of rubs his chin a bit and looks over you all. Right, so let's get this right. Johnny's dead. That was our way in. That's gone. You're meeting Ricky at 8 tonight.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For what? Date?
I mean, I was just going to kill him.
Well, at least we're being candid now. That's good. That's good. We're moving forward in progress with our...
I am not a very good liar. You found me out. Yes.
All right,
I'm
that
just
is-
still in
Their
shock.
child's just like staring at the
Miss
side of
Loyola
the
did not
window,
seem
and
to
just
like them. They seem to be causing problem. I was just going to fix problem.
Okay, well, how about this then? I'll get you access to that auction that's coming up. You'll meet Ricky afterwards. You can talk to him, distract him, kill him if you need to, do what you want to. I'll get my lads in some other way. If any of you got access to the rest of the place, we need the back door opening.
I got a tour. I know way around back.
You're going out on.
know that place very well.
Great, great. He says,
You like
and sits
that?
back with his hands.
I am artist. I could draw
a
very
map.
good map.
Oh, a map would be brilliant.
You have
me
to
that
understand,
paper.
though.
He gives you like a just a handkerchief. He just hands it over and just gets you like a pen, a bit of paper. and a
Magdalena,
pen.
there's a couple of other places you haven't seen yet. I'll tell you the rest. But more importantly,
What?
you do know, Mr. Robbie, I'm in a bit of a tight situation, you see, with Mickey. I can't afford
Right.
to have him not like me right now. So
Well-
if any help I can give, I will.
Him too.
He cannot know of it.
But we have got a few other cards in our deck, so to speak, haven't we? A few more
Indeed.
slipped up sleeve and all that, whatever the Americans say. So, Doctor, you look like a very sensible man, and Miss Fairchild, I know you are very sensible. And that one over there, that's the ace cat detective, isn't it?
Please do not tell her I killed
Yes.
people.
Oh, I won't do that. Don't worry about it. It won't come out of my mouth. Don't worry about it. It won't pass through my lips in front of her.
She looks
How
at
about this
everyone.
How about you lot, the four of you, can be like, you can plan a way in. You can find a way to get that door open, and you can get my lads in. Once you do that, we'll help you get your author out. We'll make sure he's nice and safe and put to a good place, a location that will be safe for all of you. We'll go and deal with our business, rob what we need, and get out of there. No killing.
She looks over at the doctor. It looks like my date is tonight, then.
Well, that will move up the timetable a bit, but still a fair.
That is true.
Just do
Well, I
everything.
probably have a way
Reasonable.
to get Mickey out of the bar for the night. So that would save you one bit of a problem, I suppose.
Yeah. He says he's having a think for a moment and then sort of shakes his head a bit as he looks at you and decides against something. All
Are
right.
you going to say something, Mr. Robbie?
I was going to say if you can get Mickey out, we can just off him. But I wouldn't want that to be on your conscience.
That would be... She then thinks about it. I don't know how to feel about that.
I think you would feel good. You would feel like weight off shoulders.
Yes.
Just
He
make
seems
Arena
to
the
cause you
advocate.
much stress. He gives you
Yes,
stress.
but
I
I-
do not like to see you stressed.
Yes, but I've known him since I was 16. I feel so
Ooh.
bad.
Oh,
Yeah, that's going to be a
teenage
problem,
crushes are worst. Thankfully, my father, he taught me how to get over them very quickly. He's like, you like
Oh,
this
I'm-
boy?
I'm
This is
very...
not a good
No.
boy for you. He'd make me watch us kill them, so I got over it very quickly. It happened only a few times, and then I learned lessons. So if we do the same to you, you will get over it, and he will not cause you any more stress.
Robbie sort
I've
of like
never considered.
sits back,
Does
like his
did
head
anyone-
just looks at you, horrified.
I've never
Right.
considered myself fortunate that everyone I knew at 16 is dead, but well, things change.
So, that awkward note aside, do we have a deal? You find a way in, you
Yes.
open the door for my lads, we go in, we steal what we need, we'll get out, you have a nice date or whatever, we'll piss off Mickey, you lot are all scot-free, author's back with you, live and well, and I'll get you away into that auction. Seems like a good deal.
And we do or do not kill me.
I'll leave that up to Delilah. For tonight. Any other chance, though? I'm sorry, Mr. Lala, but if there's any other way of doing it, if there's any other time to do it, we'll have to do what we have to do.
Fritz, one moment. Let me
Doctor.
ponder this for a second. You mean, to solve all of this, all we had to do is kill Mickey in the first place?
This is
didn't
what
you
it sounds like. I do not know why this is not brought up as first idea.
We could have. I was in the office. We could have gunned him
Right
down and been
there.
done with this.
But then the other boys would get us. You don't understand how vicious
Yeah.
they are.
You are very funny.
I've seen them break so many things and do horrible things all back at home. It's very scary.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
See, you are not
But
as
since
innocent as I thought. You'll be fine.
And
She just looks like she's gonna puke.
And the detective doesn't like when we kill people.
She does not. Do not
And-
tell her.
I imagine not.
And Miss Fairchild, what is your opinion of the life and death?
Oh, that's a bit
I
of a
think it
nuanced
is-
question for a mourner, mate.
Very easy to go from one state of affairs to the other, and my work seems to pick off when one is the other.
Yes.
Makes no
Indeed.
never mind to me.
Oh,
I like it. Miss Fairchild's pretty down to earth.
And Delilah does look like she's like paled. She paled at this whole.
she's wringing her hands, looking like genuinely ill at the talk of
Magdalena looks more
murder.
comfortable. Like, oh man, if I had known these people were cool with murder, maybe I could have been a little more open. Damn.
The
And it's
doctor
actually
like-
saying this,
pulls
that
his bag
a
up
glass
and gives you a little
shatters.
tincture.
Huh?
As you're saying that, a glass shatters off the side, and you see a gentleman in sort of a pinstriped suit with a bow tie on, looking a bit disheveled. He seems to go to bolt, but almost immediately as he tries that, a couple of the others by the bar, even though they look quite drunk to you, Tilly, seem to just kind of get a hold of them and grab them and pull them back. And Robbie looks over and goes, "Sorry, Doctor. Just 1 minute," he says, and kind of stands up and walks over. And you see this gentleman who stood there. He's kind of near you, Tilly, and he's sort of sweaty, and his hair is a bit damp, and he kind of looks around a bit and then spots Robbie and the rest and sort of pales a bit. Oh, shit,
Was he talking to me about the sheep?
No, he wasn't. He was nearby. He was listening. Just off to the side.
Oh dear, oh dear. I'm going to go to the restroom.
Yes.
Where is it,
Miss
Mr.
Tilly.
Robbie?
Robbie, as he kind of puts a hand on your shoulder very gently and goes, "It's just through there. On the left, you'll find it. Open the door. Make sure you knock twice before, just in case someone's there," he says, and kind of gives you two little pat.
Thank you very much.
Look
Give
out
him a
for the
little
cats.
curtsy.
We have one lawful party member.
Yeah,
And
basically.
she turns a blind eye to the murder that will probably happen right in front of her. So
And
she goes to,
you
she knocks on the
go to the
restroom.
loo. You go to the bathroom. You go to the lavatory. And
Yep.
you make your way there. The rest of you, however, you do see kind of what happens. You see Robbie have a quick word quietly with the gentleman, and he seems to be sort of panicking, and he spits at him, and it lands on his waistcoat, and he kind of looks down at it and just looks a bit perturbed. And quite quickly afterwards delivers a very mean right hook to the side of his jaw. And the gentleman kind of flops backwards and passes out. Robbie sort of dusts the blood off his shirt slightly. Oh, bloody hell. Just wash that. All right, lads, take him in the back. We'll make sure he don't leave today. All right? We have business. And they kind of drag him away. No, not like your kind of help. No murdering. All right? We're
Miss
just gonna keep him
Fairchild just
quiet.
produces like a
Okay.
white handkerchief and just cleans the spit off him because
He
Yeah.
looks at you and he
blood
looks
is
so
fine, spit is not.
He looks ever so
Mhm.
grateful as he sees you, and he gives you a nod and goes, "Thank you, Miss Fairchild. That's lovely of you. I just love this waistcoat as well.
There's no excuse for that kind of behaviour.
Oh, it's bloody rude, isn't it?" He says, he looks at you and nods. Anyway, your friend Tilly's in the bathroom. Let me know if you're all right with doing that plan. I'm just going to go in the back and say to a few things.
I think this is
Change
proper gesture. I've been told
It
this is
is.
the wrong one. So this is the one?
That's the
Okay.
wrong one.
Okay.
Don't go around doing that, Miss
Hey,
Megan.
that's-
Also, don't go around flashing your sword.
No,
Say-
I only brought up because it's pertinent to dagger. You know how? Because you see, back in home country, 15th century
Kind of
daggers,
close it.
and swords are very specific style of make. Oh,
Perhaps you
So
should
kind of
put your blade away,
sword
Mr.
back in.
Bill.
yes, it's very, very nice blade. Hmm?
There's just a really odd smile on Miss Fairchild's face.
She buckles it back on under her
Very
skirts.
nice.
Is everyone here planning to kill Mickey tonight? Is this it?
Only
And
if
as
you
soon
want.
as he
That
No
is
leaves.
what,
intention of
that
killing
is what
anyone.
he say. He say if you want him dead, we kill him. It's fine.
I
I just
It
need
seemed
to
like
get
you would
back to
have
work.
less problem if he was not living.
I would. I've known him for the past, she thinks about it, many years. I should not tell you my age.
I'm sure it is many for you, yes. Many, very long. You are quite young, you're so young. Look at you. You're so young. Such almost like a baby.
Lady Berkeley, the kind of life that Mr. Dillinger lives, he's going to die eventually. Today, tomorrow, next week, next year. I think timing hardly matters in the grand scheme of things.
Yes, I know. And I know he's a terrible person, but he was nice once, when he was younger. He wasn't as mean as his dad.
Morality is not really my area, I'm afraid. Dead is dead.
I don't know how to feel about that. He's been stalking me since I got married. He followed me all the
He
way
has
here.
been what? Magdalena
She kind of just starts
Awkward.
pacing, just
Pat, pat.
pacing, like
And,
kind of wring her hands.
Stalkers. Ugh. Usually you can wait out, but you do not have that kind of time, I do not think. I mean, you are a married woman. He's not just admirer. You're,
He was my boyfriend. We dated once a long time ago, but he's been, I don't know. She kind of like holds her hands, like just. I wish there was something that could just help me. I don't know what to do.
And speaking
Just
of,
like-
Tilly, are you finished yet? There is a returning knock on the bathroom door as you, of course, hear some noise outside for a moment.
Coming. Sorry. Thank you. And she
It's all right.
leaves.
There's Robbie from the other side as he drags the gentleman in.
Do you,
He's passed. It's fine.
okay. Right. Silly bars. And she goes over to the rest of them. We all look
Okay,
quite
so you walk
perturbed.
out just as Delilah says that.
What's...
I look at Tilly like a freaking angel. Tilly,
Hello.
do you mind if we speak? Well, actually, well, everyone already here knows, actually. Do you mind if I ask you a question of morality?
Well, of course.
Well, say someone who could hurt you and your family, who is evil, who's not a kind person, but someone who you also knew was a kind person, whom you might have loved at one point, and you had the choice of their life and death. What would you choose?
I am... I'm not much of a religious woman, but I do think if they are as morally grey as you think, that maybe only God can really forgive them. If there's no lawful way to do it, then it is a most unfortunate thing. But I will always try the law first. As flawed and unequal as it is.
Then, Miss Tilly Griffiths, can you promise me, if he doesn't die tonight, you'll put him behind bars?
I will do my utmost, Lady Berkeley.
Thank you.
And she breaks rank a little bit and just holds her hands and just gently gives him a squeeze.
And it's about that time that as she squeezes your hand, you see Tilly immediately become incredibly weak. Her eyes roll back slightly and she begins to flop to the ground.
Oh dear! I
did not
catch her.
quit. It was not me, Walter.
Gives
I
gentle
tried,
snore. Like,
I will just like step
Attempts will be
over
made.
and kind
I'm
of-
stepping away. I don't want them to think I
Oh.
murdered her.
All right, the doctor will
It-
try to
it
catch
is-
her.
All
Okay.
right.
So, Doctor, you manage easily enough. You're stood nearby. A lot of you are. So you manage to put your hands out just in time and just catch Tilly. She's quite light as you
Okay.
catch Tilly. And she seems out cold, sleeping, it seems.
Lay her gently in the booth and begin to do a medical kind of examine, you know.
Hey, could you give me a very quick medicine check then, please, as you look over?
Sure.
I'm just watching very curiously.
I do like how every single time anybody passes out, Magdalena's just like, oh, not me.
Not me.
I didn't do it.
It's like, Magdalena, they're
as
going to
soon
fall
as
off the
she
roof if they
passes-
pass out. It's not me. Yes, as soon as she
As
passes out.
soon as this pass out, like Delilah kind of just like thinks about this and then looks over at Magdalena and is like, after this, I do believe I would like to hear more about you, Miss Magdalena.
Oh. What about specifically?
Well, not everyone can produce a antique Romanian knife. Speak about murder as casually
That
as
sounds like my
Sunday.
family. very old women.
Yes, and casually speak of how their fathers killed their adolescent suitors.
Your fathers did not do this? And she
Speaking of
looks.
that, as you look around, Dr. Varuk, at this point, you've managed to kind of have a look over. You check her over completely. You sort of check the side of her head and things as well to make sure there's no bumps. You do find one. It seems that she recently has taken a fall and hit her head, but it's quite covered. And there are various bruises that you do find from where she's seemingly taken a tumble. And the suddenness of it and the way that she is indeed asleep seems to denote to you with your 23, it relates to some studies that you'd read on before on the subject of narcolepsy. Take you at any time, in any place.
Yeah, this is a condition. Do I know how long she'll be out? And if we should wake her or not?
Well, I don't know how long, but you could wake her. You have some smelling salts on you. You could possibly rouse her from sleep with that. A simple shake won't work. Perhaps something a bit strong, just shaking them.
Let's reach in the bag and pull out the caplet and shake it. And,
until you're awoken.
I was going to say, make sure there's nothing if she bolts up, she's going to bang her head or arm.
You've made sure there's nothing there, and you are laid sort of on the chair rather than anything else until you suddenly awake.
At the being awake so fast, I will use my quick draw and point at his stomach and just look up. Oh, Dr. Varuk. Oh, I do apologize.
I take note of what kind of weapon it was. You would seem to have a condition. Do you know about this condition?
Very much so, yes. It's quite unfortunate. I've made a few friends on the street that usually deliver me back home if I get too bad.
Well, as long as you know, I will dispense with letting you tell anyone you want. But
yes, I've woken up at the bottom of quite a few stairs. It's quite telling, really. Thank you very much for waking me.
Currently, there is no cure for this, but maybe, if you would not mind at times, I could take some notes and talk to you.
I would very much like that. Yes, I can tell you about my synesthesia as well, if you like.
It's another condition.
I have quite a
That's a lot of F.
She's just trying to pronounce it. Like, that's very smart sounding. What does it do?
It allows me to perceive the world in very different ways. Do you know when I went to your library?
Yes, you seem quite happy to be there. Very fascinated and taken in, actually.
A completely different sensory experience, you see. Every letter to me has a different color, a very consistent color. So when I look at a book, I see a beautiful rainbow. When I looked at all those spines, it was like walking through the gates of heaven, Miss Berkeley. And I experienced things. For example, cats smell like chocolate. Yes. And
Other
things. So I'm more than happy to talk about detailed eccentricities of my brain.
Yes. Now, we should probably find Mr. Robbie and tell him of our sort of plans.
Oh, I'm sure we'll come out the back.
What is our plan, actually?
Yes, this cumbersome.
I believe the plan is to facilitate Mr. Carr's entry to the Dead Swing.
Yes. All right. I should probably look over your map just real quick. I'm going to quickly check Magdalena's to make sure all the everything is correct.
And we should tell Mickey that you are going to have a date with him tonight.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, Miss Berkeley?
I should be. He can be a gentleman if you teach him right.
He is stalking you now. Think about Teddy in future. Could be bad.
I have already.
And of course, if you have dinner with him, he's not dead.
I would like to at
Not
least
good at
give
comforting.
legal. Yes, I
Sure.
just look at Tilly. I've said this before in confidence, but I have hired Miss Tilly here to investigate Mickey. Should she gather enough on him, perhaps the law may actually prevail for once.
Oh, maybe
my
you can
lifetime.
find many evidences in bar while we do raid.
Indeed.
I wish you luck with that, Mom.
The doctor is still chuckling about Mrs. Fairchild's thing about him not being dead, and then he says, like Schrodinger's mobster. And he's happy with himself.
Has no idea what that means.
And the doctor wouldn't expect any of you to know what it means,
Nope.
but he made the joke for himself.
Like
not
Schrodinger's mobster. I love it.
The player finds it very funny, but yes.
Yes.
Miss
Yes, I love
Fairchild
it.
just kind of nothing.
I like you, Herr Dr. Verrückt. I did not know we had so much in common, I think.
Yes.
I look terrified of both of these people.
And I look at Dr. Baruch quite closely, like trying to see if he's now.
It's a vampire.
I'm finding the doctor quite the paragon of his profession. I haven't had much of the way of good experiences with doctors. And she just kind of like rubs just under her covered eye.
Well, we will see if we can change that. But can we get on with this caper so that I can get back to the lab and we can work on this container
Yes,
you
I
have?
have a heart for you, so you must look at that very soon.
Yes. Okay.
A most
That
fascinating thing. It appears that it has been aged, acceleratedly aged, and that's caused the heart attack. I have the actual heart. I was wondering if we could go over it
Excuse me,
together.
does anyone know where the bathroom is?
Oh, I'm very sorry. Talking about these things.
When you say you have a heart for him, are you
As in the
thinking
major
just
organ of the body,
emotionally
Seville.
or physically, or like do you still have extra?
No, the heart that beats in your chest, albeit very slowly. I have his in a
You
in
have
this
his
jar.
heart?
Yes.
What? She looks at the doctor like,
Not
No,
the
no,
doctor's
heart. No.
heart.
The poor chap that was murdered from one of the guards from the museum.
so you have dead man heart in a jar of pudding.
Yes. I also have his cerebral spinal fluid and his blood and a little bit of collect of his stomach contents, etc., etc. So,
And to that
You're
time,
fine.
Gary, you do indeed find the bathroom, and you go in. As you see Robbie walking back out, he's changed his waistcoat. It's a black one this time as he's walking out and nods at you. Bathroom's there, he says, and heads on out.
Thank you. Goes in,
Nice.
and makes sure she doesn't barf, you know.
No problem. And you have a moment. You can enter back whenever you're ready to, as Robbie walks out and kind of looks a bit more very sharp now as he walks out and nods at each of you. Right, have you had a think?
And I
Yes.
think it's in our best interests to work together.
All right. Well then, I'll have my people waiting outside the back. You get that door open. We'll do the things that you don't need to know about. No deaths will come of it, Miss Tilly. Don't you mind about that. We'll just be taking bad things out of bad people's hands and into other less bad people, but still bad people's hands. Look at it that way.
you're probably one of the nicer ones I've ever met, Mr. Robbie.
Thank you. We do try and be polite to those that we are polite to. Let's keep it that
Speak
way.
softly
If you
and
come across a crown, a dagger, or a mask, though, I must insist that you please give that
Sure.
back.
Where can I contact you?
I have
I
help.
hand
I
out,
just
I
hand out my
a-
card again.
She has that card. I hand out my card.
I'm like, I live on a house at the edge of town on this level. So if you need,
And there
You
are
can
plenty
leave
of
messages
folks down
there.
here who know how to contact
just
me.
tell. If you send someone to my house, just tell them that whoever goes there, just my servant, just tell her that Magdalena wants to see them again.
Right. He
Yeah,
says, and
so
kind of,
you will
he's
get
got like
messages.
these multiple cards in his hand and these dresses, and he's like listened to all of you talking at the same time about where to find each other, and he's like,
And here is map.
figure it out.
There's map.
I'm sure
I'll just slide the napkin back across the table with the now map on it.
Ah. So Kevin looks at it and goes, Right, that'll be helpful.
Do you want paper, or would you be happy with the
Yeah, this'll do.
handkerchief? Okie dokie.
Which is both a map and a fashion accessory, he says, popping it into his little... So, if that's all of our work done here, you get that door open, I'll see to my side, you get your side done, we'll have a good time. If you wanted to take him down, lawfully, as you said...
I'd be interested.
Good luck.
Great.
Don't get my main name mixed up in there. I don't do right working with the fuss.
Understood. Not many do, I'm afraid.
Yeah, be a bit
But
of a
your
damp
name is
my protection if I were.
far from my lips, Mr. Carr. Don't worry.
Good, that's fine. Please, Robbie. You can keep Mr. Carr far from your lips, that's my father. But Robbie's fine, he says, and nods. Now, as for the rest of you, have a good evening.
Mr. Robbie?
Mr. Baruch. Might have a few jobs for you in the future. Keep your ears open.
Yes. If any... we will talk.
We'll talk.
And if you require my services, you know where to find me.
I certainly do, Miss Fairchild. Have a lovely evening.
And you,
Say
Mr. Carr.
Thank you. It looks like it's going to be quite the busy one, he says and nods and smiles a bit. And, Miss Tilly, thank you for the warning. I'll make sure that I see to it that my contacts hear about it.
Please. I can't guarantee that it is true, but a little extra safety isn't there.
Of course, he says, and he offers you a hand.
She gently shakes it.
And he takes it and just gives you a shake, quite a firm one, and then not too firm, just a little firm, and then kind of offers each of you a handshake that want one. He doesn't know you are a child, he knows better than to do that. But shakes the rest of your hands, and he kind of gives you a tip of the hat, Delilah, rather than...
I still think it's a very odd gesture.
What is it about sheep? I can't get a coherent answer out of those at the bar.
Apparently, it's rumor I steal and murder sheep. This is...
There is. It's quite an extensive story, but I'm just wondering where it came from.
I'll have to ask Irene. Maybe she knows something.
I see.
And the doctor does not shake his hand. He puts his hands behind his back and he bows and clicks his heels and turns.
He just kind of tips his hat to you and nods.
Good day.
Good day, he says, and gets back to his own work as he goes back into the back. And he turns hold the bar if you can. Yes, Delilah.
Before he leaves and stuff, she'll kind of just an approach and do a little head tilt, just in case the legal measures do not fall through.
Right.
Am I correct to assume I can find you here?
You'll find me around here. Ask about me. I'll come to you.
Thank you. This
You
reassures me
can stay
greatly.
there, right? Make sure you don't step to the wrong district. This one's ran by my lot. They won't rob you. But go into the others. They might do.
Oh
It would be
dear.
funny.
He nods and kind of just leaves through the door at that point. No more ceremony about it. He's off. Leaving you all to yourself. What do you all wish to do next? Now that you
Can I see... I am a very scientific woman. Can I see blood sample?
Perhaps when we get back to the lab, Miss Liddell, if that is okay.
Yes, I will use fancy lab equipment to learn things about blood sample.
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
What is the
Like
plan
you do.
then? Lady Berkeley, you're going on a excursion with the.
I will be going back to. I'll be going back to speak to Mickey. Let him know what. Let him know that Mr. Robbie has rejected said offer, but I would be willing to spend the night with him anyway. Not a
Yes,
lie.
tonight.
I see. And your plan, Miss DeVille, you are going into the establishment after.
Yes,
8
I will
p.m.
tell Ricky to meet me by the back door at 8 when he gets off work.
Excellent. And Dr. Frick and Miss Fairchild, what are your parts to play in this?
They can stand in an alley with me and wait, or stand nearby.
I think if
Or be
Miss
in
DeVille is
establishment.
intending to open the back doors, it would be best to have someone on the other side to make sure of that. I can be very quiet when necessary.
I see. Then, Doctor, if you have nothing to do, perhaps you could help me with a legal part we can perhaps play in this.
Oh, you could search through desk drawers like in.
Oh no, entering the
Mystery
premises
book.
without permission is quite illegal.
You say, "Hey,
Perhaps-
can I come in?" They go, "Yes, you come in. You are an establishment now." It is polite to be welcomed in. I do feel much more welcome if someone says, "No, please come in."
But I'd rather not be that busy, if you know what I mean, Mr. Ville. Perhaps me and you, Dr. we could perhaps provide some sort of distraction for when Miss Berkeley goes on her date to delay their return home. If the target is not at his premises and is held up somewhere, we would give more time for the rest to do as they pleased.
That sounds like a good plan. I will assist you.
I don't want to be hampering anyone's business, but I'd rather not get too implicated in the other element of it.
Skullduggery?
Skullduggery.
Ooh, I like this word.
In the doctor's head, he's like, "Great, I get to ask her medical questions about her condition and this kind of thing." So,
What sort of distraction do you have in mind, Miss Tilly? Just so I'm
Well,
not
that
too
is-
alarmed.
I don't have a particular one in mind. I was hoping to pick the doctor's brain about that. I'm sure he has some sort of
Oh, dear.
invention that might.
You can do that
What
thing where you
concoction?
faint, like on table, but in the street, and be like, "Oh no, she has fainted."
I don't think, from what I can profile of the target, I don't think he would too much care.
And if you're
Oh.
trying to keep us distracted, wouldn't that mean you'd have to, observe us from a safe distance the entire time?
Oh,
I would feel more assured, of course, but there's a higher chance of being caught, Miss Tilly.
Well,
It
And
was
you'd be
my
further
understanding
implicated.
that the man in question would only recognize the good doctor, surely. Miss Griffith
this is
an
true.
unknown quantity, if you
She
like.
was not with us at visit.
I do have a somewhat of a reputation, unfortunately. But Doctor,
As-
perhaps if
as
we were
cat
to disguise
finder.
ourselves on an outing.
And it's about that
If we
time that
were
you hear, "Cat detective," as they walk by.
As you can see.
Cat detective.
But if me and you and I, Dr. Vera, perhaps we were to go on our own outing, as professional colleagues, of course, we
yes.
could perhaps blend in with the others,
If
provide distraction as needed.
so, this Mickey, if he is a bad man, we don't kill him. We
We're
still
not
let him
going
finish.
to harm him at all tonight.
All right. Should I at some point knock him out? I mean, I can give him
What about
some.
early tomorrow morning?
You tell me when, and we will sedate him, as
Just-
it were.
Just as long as he's not harmed that way, in the very dead and God judges you kind of way. That would be
No.
very nice.
We could keep him
Oh.
sedated in basement. He would not cause you trouble then, and he would not be dead.
That is also kidnapping, so we should not be discussing that too much. So,
That's
If
We
you
are
had
trying to
accident-
get him.
frustrating.
accident,
Is it kidnapping
Sedate
if we take him in first? Then he's just very, very permanent sleepy guest.
yes, unfortunately, Mr. Ville, that's still a crime. If we were to accidentally sedate him and then get him to the proper medical facilities, and I turn to Dr. Verrucht, we could perhaps hold him there as a patient, and that has its own set of laws that we can work around. We cannot just keep him in a basement, I'm afraid. It would send off quite a lot
Laws
of
you
pressure.
have here are very complicated. They are very.
Indeed.
And all
Well,
of them circumvented
like-
by the lies we tell to ourselves.
Of course. Everyone's full of them. Well, if that is the case, I will get going home to get myself ready, then heading back. How do I even
Okay.
get home from here?
So speaking
you
of,
take cab.
yeah, you take cab, and at that point we'll cut away, and we'll talk about your plans. So how are you all going to go about this before we enact the plan?
Right.
For the last hour of our session today. So how are you going about this? So Delilah, you're going back, you're going to get ready. How are you approaching this for all of you? Just let me know. Talk among yourselves.
The doctor gets a hat.
Good start to the plan.
Yes.
Good start. I think it's a strong start.
That's an excellent plan.
Go on. Shaq.
No, I'm just hedging noises. Don't worry. Go on.
Same here. I was making umming noises too.
All these
I'm
but
playing
no
it.
plan.
Is gonna hop back in at the bar and let Ricky know that she'll meet him right when he gets off work at the back door.
Okay. So I think he'd have agreed to that, and he'd have been like, back door's a bit strange, but yeah, of course, I'll meet you there.
Lovely. I like back door is more exciting. And then
Hey!
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And
Well,
he
scandalous.
enthusiastically would
Wow.
agree, as he sort of managed to make it there, convince Rick to meet the
this is for telling me to behave before the session started.
Behave, Magdalena.
And then
behave.
also, if that meeting lasted for more than an
thank
hour,
you.
which it probably did, because there was a lot of talking,
Yeah, it was. They lasted more than an
everyone
hour.
would
that
probably notice that Magdalena goes back down to being very pale, like she was
Okay.
after about an hour. And then she goes home, and she sharpens her sword, she gets ready, she puts on a little perfume, maybe wears a little bit more black. And she'll try to get a taste of that blood sample for Miss Tilly before they all separate as well.
Brilliant stuff. And
See
also
if
thank
you
you for the raid world, Anvil.
Thank
Hello,
you.
everybody. You came in at just the right time for that joke.
Perfect moment.
Miss Fairchild, because her part of the plan is basically being backup when the back door is supposed to be open, will probably just go home and take care of the things she needs to take care of at home, and then come back later and meet
Okay,
everyone.
no
then.
problem. So you're popping away, and then
And
you're going to come
I'd
back
like to ask
later.
Irene
Delilah,
about
you're going
sheep.
to meet. Okay. So we can cut to that in a moment as well. So Miss Fairchild, you go home. You go and deal with what you need to deal with. You get yourself ready. Delilah goes back and gets ready to go and meet Mickey later for this date with the mobster. Tilly, you are going back to the doctor to discuss a plan. What is the two of yours plan? What have you come to as you're talking? What do you think is the idea you're going to go with for this? How are you going to distract or keep an eye on them in some way?
So, disguise first?
Yes. I think a disguise would do. We can just look like any ordinary couple, I suppose. You perhaps might
Speaking
want
of
to dye your
disguises.
hair, Dr. Varut.
Yes. Do we have time for that?
Delilah
couple of
actually.
Oh,
Speaking of dyeing hair and disguises,
Right, okay.
Delilah, as an actress and performer, has an assortment of wigs, makeup, and costumes back at her place. And
Okay.
if you do not mind not having a mirror to look at yourself, but only each other, she's happy to lend you her wardrobe and her makeup, because she's going home anyway.
Okay. So you would have had an offer to go and use a sort of a set of gear to disguise yourselves with if you wished to.
Yes,
Okay. So tell me, how, Doctor, do you disguise yourself?
well, I already have goggles and specs, glasses
Okay.
to cover my eyes up. And, there is no sun down here, so being pale
Definitely
is
not.
probably not a thing. But the hair, I guess, first, if either of these ladies knows how to cut hair, I'll let them, cut his hair. And then... would Delilah have hair dye at her house?
Oh, yes.
Ah, okay.
She has
Alright.
plenty of black hair dye.
Okay. Then I guess that's what he'll do. He'll become
Okay, no problem.
brunette.
All right. So have you got the disguise skill at all, or acting?
I
No.
do.
So whoever has it can help you. Delilah, of course, you're busy getting ready, but Tilly and Baroche, do either of you have it at all?
I don't
I do
think
not.
so.
Disguise or acting?
Neither.
Can I
No,
get
okay.
Can I just give them tips while I'm getting ready and getting changed, like rustling about?
Sure, you can give them tips. So I'll give them a +1 to this. But if you both give me a very quick, we'll go with a wit check for this one.
Oh, that's good.
So if you give me a wit +1.
You know, like, don't forget when walking, you want to change your gait by putting a little bit of a pebble in your shoe.
I might do a
It'll change the way
reroll
you
on
walk
that.
immediately.
Sure, you can use a second chance.
Yeah.
So you get a
I'm gonna use
reroll on
my
that as you use a second chance.
because I feel like it's important.
Maybe. Would you like to use your second chance, Dr. Varukt?
Ooh.
Or do you want to save it for later in case
And,
things go
and
wrong?
what do I get from from Tilly's?
A +1.
Okay, so I would be +2. How does that work again?
So you'd be wit +1 because I'm giving you wit for this.
So I would
I'm
barely be at 10.
Well,
You'd be 10.
All right,
Passable.
I think I'm going to take the 10 because we don't plan on being close, and the doctor is like, "That isn't enough fussing. Let us get on with this."
And so you managed to get two of you look a bit different. Tilly, you look remarkably different. How do you disguise yourself? What do you look like now?
I'll probably put on a blonde wig. I'll have a very small sort of fascinator in a light blue.
Okay.
And she will have bright green eyes and a bit more like tan to her skin than normal.
Okay,
And she'll also have like a different set of clothes.
Brilliant. So you both get yourselves ready. You look different enough. Tilly, on the other hand, has managed to disguise herself very well. She looks entirely different. You could hardly tell it's Tilly if you were looking at her you didn't know it was her. And Dr. Farouk, you look different enough to pass. People usually would look for your stark white hair, so you're thinking it'll be passable. You got some grey streaks in your dark hair, but aside from that, it's looking good. Delilah, you get yourself ready, as do the rest of you. Magdalena, what have you done in this time to get yourself ready? Of course, you've talked to Ricky. He's more than happy to meet you, especially that very full comment to him.
Yeah, she goes back home to maybe spruce up a little. By spruce up, she's putting on her hunting clothes, which is things that blend in at night in the city and things that don't show blood. And she wants to talk to Irene about sheep. You heard anything?
Okay, so yeah, while you were getting ready then, Irene was stood there watching you closely. Have I heard what?
Rumors about sheep.
What about them? Have people been talking about sheep to you again, Magdalena?
People have been talking about sheep go missing and they are dead, and I'm implicated in this, apparently.
They should make sure that they keep their words to themselves. How dare they implicate you in such things? We do
Should they
no
be
such thing.
implicating you in such things?
And why should they be doing that?
Well, they
She
don't
says,
know
and
about
as
you.
she
Should I be
against them.
implicating you?
Oh, chicken
Irene,
boy
what-
is at it.
Oh, yes, chicken boy making sheep noises.
He has very strange hobby, she says as you hear. Basement.
Irene, what do you do with sheep?
It's better you don't ask these things.
Is this something I need to tell father about?
No, this is hobby.
I'm going to go out on a lamb here.
I like it. Go out on a lamb, yes. If I could feel humor, I would.
Yes. Why you bring sheep to house?
I bring sheep to house so they can be in house. Look, I can show you if you need to see it. You are, of course, our Dark Lord's daughter.
Yes, I am the Dark Lord's daughter. I would love to know.
Yeah.
I'd like to see sheep. I may regret later, but at least I know. If I don't know, I will be wandering for centuries. And I don't want
That's a
that.
good point. Fine, she says, and kind of leads you through the house. And she leads you to a rug that's sort of in the servants' quarters, and she slides it on across. And you see that Cooper, the chicken boy, your boy that you've been having tend to your chickens, is kind of sat in a chair in that room. He's got a glass of water, and he's got a chicken on his lap, and he's kind of petting it. He just kind of looks at you.
Hello, Cooper. Are you doing well? I have not been
Yeah, I'm
home
doing
much.
all right. Yeah, chicken's got quite big. See, he says, picking it up.
Ah, yes, that is big
Yeah.
chicken.
Yeah, it is. Got some fresh eggs today, so you can have some like scrambled eggs or something later.
Oh, yes, that
Yeah.
would be good.
Yeah.
Are other chickens doing well?
Yeah, they're doing all
Chickens
right.
all-
Yeah, there's a couple rift. They're doing quite well.
Ah.
They're growing quite well. Actually, got to say, they've had some growth spurts since about a night ago. And
Oh,
I'm
is
pretty
that
sure one
normal?
of them. No, like this one. He says, lifting the big fat
Oh.
chicken. This was like half its size a day ago, and then it's sort of
Oh,
bloated, but it's healthy.
Just count your blessings, but not your eggs before they hatch.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but all right.
Yes.
Also, one of them's a bit gold. Look, he says, and kind of goes. He kind of lifts out a bowl, and you hear some little tweeting from the bowl, and he lifts it up, and he holds a little gold chickling.
Ah,
We'll check. But it is like not just yellow, it is gold and luminous. And as the light hits it, the bare amount of candlelight, it
her head
shines.
towards that chick a bit. Ah, yes. I would take good care of chickens, Cooper. You seem to have
Yeah, I am.
gift. Yes.
I do, yeah, I have a gift, and you're letting me hone it. Thank you, miss, he says, and puts the golden chicken back in the bowl.
Yes. Maybe you should name that one like Buck Jr.
I like it, that's a good name. All right then, Bok.
Yes. Okay. Sheep. And she turns back towards Irene.
Yes, you need to look at the sheep, she says, and kind of looks over the Cooper and goes, Cooper, go and take your chickens outside to wherever you do. Keep them in the coop, miss. Yes, still hilarious joke, she says as she opens up the door. And then you see lights begin to flick on, little sort of galvanic lights that light up all the way down. And the stairs seem to lead quite deep underground. She goes, my lady.
Thank you. And she'll descend. Wondering what is she doing with these sheep.
And as you do, you see the door, like the trap door shut above you, and then she's already at the bottom of the stairs and she still stands there and just gestures for you to follow. Come, she says, and begins to lead you through the underground. And
I forgot
you
about this
eventually-
area of house. They left it out of real estate listing. I did not come down here.
Yes, they did. I use it as tomb. I have coffin down here. It's good to keep out of sun. And if visitors come, I don't need to answer a door, and they don't wake me. She says as she leads you through. And again, you keep on hearing the bah, distant. She eventually leads you into a small area, and she opens a door. And inside, you see many pens, and there's hay on the ground, and it looks very comfortable. And there's like big cushions that she's put out. And you just see about 5 sheep, and they all seem to be dressed in various manners. Some of them have hats on them, some of them have little waistcoats, and they're all groomed perfectly and trimmed. There. Happy now? She says as she looks at them.
I had no idea this was your hobby.
His old hobby from old country, okay? Used to be
Yes.
sheepkeeper.
Ah, this
Shepherd, they
explains.
called me.
This explains much.
I used to own lamb. Was nice.
How long have you had sheep, Irene?
But these ones, not long. About 5 months, 1 a month usually.
Ah. And why have we not had mutton?
You're not eating them? She says, look at them. They are refined. They are smart animals. She says as one
They
of them
are-
begins to try and eat the other one's waistcoat. And she's like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da." And like bats it away a bit. Bad Reginald.
She is
Don't
doing her
mind that
best to keep a straight face. Ah, yes, well, they are very dapper sheep. I
Yes,
will let you know if I hear of any others.
please do. I usually just take 1 a year. There is always 3 in this farm, you see. I take 1 or 2, let 1 free, keep 1 to be refined, gentle sheep. Others let go, or sometimes dies, unfortunately. But these things happen.
These things do happen.
Please don't tell your father about this. He said it was not proper to keep sheep. I like keeping them.
I will not mention this. Thank you
You
for
look like
showing me.
you've got something on face. Is everything okay? She says.
Yes,
she
it's
looks
made
at you,
up.
squinting.
I'm going to meet and eat someone at 8.
Good. bring home takeaway if you can. I am getting hungry. I
If
do
I
not wish to
can.
eat Cooper accidentally.
Oh no, that would be very bad. I do not want to see
Would
Chicken
be.
Boy. Chicken Boy is like sheep. We do not eat.
Good. I am glad we understand each other.
There. Yes.
Mm.
Well, I will see if I can bring takeout.
Thank you. I'm feeling Irish, I think.
How about American?
American sounds good. Not had that before. Is any good?
It's little greasy, but not bad.
Right. She says in that. I think I can do with that.
I see
Please
what
be
I can.
safe, Magdalena. Not that you need to be. You are, of course, your father's daughter.
Yes.
And you do see one of the sheep. Could you give me a very quick wit check, please?
Yes, I can.
I can see you slightly trying to not crack up here, so this is...
Oh no.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I rolled a D100, but I got a 9 and an 8 plus 3.
That's fine, yeah.
So really
It's
high.
very high. So you
17,
look
20.
away, and as you turn, there's one sheep that seems to be in an even better position than the rest, and they've got like a raised pen where they're kept, and they've got like a throne of cushions, and they're sort of lounging on them. And you see behind them is one of your paintings that went missing of your father, kind of stood at the edge of his castle, posturing and gesturing with his thing. Lightning crashing in the background, and you see this sheep seems to have a cape clipped onto it of a black and red fabric, and is wearing a very nice replica waistcoat of your father's, and also has what seems to be the most groomed hair. It's very weirdly sort of woolly and fluffy, but a bit straightened near the front to give it a bit of like a flowing hair.
She's not going to say anything. And she's not planning on telling her father. But if he asks, she's not going to be able to not say anything. So she will exit. And when she gets to the top, she's going to close the door. Go back up to the room. Hopefully out of Irene's listening range. And go,
Yeah.
This was very funny.
No, it wasn't.
Oh God, why you do this to me?
And about that time is where we will cut back as you managed to finally get ready to go. Miss Fairchild, you of course get yourself ready. All of you get yourselves prepared, and your plan begins to get in action. So, first step of your plan is for Delilah to go and convince Mickey to go on the date tonight. So, Delilah, you make it back to the bar. And all of them, as usual, see you and go, Miss Delilah, and let you through. And Ricky sees you as well, and he seems to be he looks a bit chuffed with himself. He looks pretty happy, as he's like,
Hello,
Miss
Ricky.
Delilah. I'm great.
Yes, you're looking very happy with yourself. What's happened? Anything good?
Well, I made of myself a very good date with a very lovely lady tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be really nice. I got a few things planned, I got some flowers for her. I got a couple of good places booked. I think it's going to be a good night. It's been a while, He says he kind of seems very excited.
Well, don't forget to be a gentleman on the first date. You know how those English women are. Don't let her, don't take her home and all that. Or don't go to her house. You know the rules.
We'll see about that bit, but the rest, I'll be a perfect gentleman.
All right. She smiles and reaches up to give his cheek affection a little pinch.
It kind of gives you a bit of a smile, because, so what are you here for, really, though? It ain't just for social debate, as much as that's nice of you.
Well, yes, if I'm dressed like this, I gotta have to see Mickey, don't I? Otherwise, he'd be really jealous of all of you, wouldn't he?
Well, there is that, miss. There is that. And he kind of looks at you and kind of leans in a bit and goes, you sure you're all right? If you need to get out of here without being seen, I can get you out. You don't need to do this,
I gotta do what I gotta do,
the boss is getting on your back, but, look, I can slip a few things past for you. You know that.
I know. Now, don't forget, be a gentleman.
Always, Miss Delilah. You'll be safe, all right?
All right. Ricky, out of all of them, you're one of the best.
I do try to be, miss, he says. Dragged into this life, you gotta make the best of it. And he opens the door for you and gestures for you to enter.
Yeah,
He doesn't meow.
I go.
That was a cat somewhere in the world, but he doesn't meow at you.
I'm sorry, baby. I'm streaming. I can't open the door for him. I feel so bad. All right.
You can let the cat. It's
Okay,
fine.
sorry.
You can just have the cat on screen. Like,
Okay, I'll just go grab my cat.
Yes. Street cats are best cats.
exactly.
Oh, Ricky!
She's just trying to make me feel bad in advance. It's fine.
Don't kill him.
Can't
He's
kill
so
him now.
baby.
You have to just knock him out and just leave him be.
All right, I won't
Keep him
kill
as
him.
guest. Sedated guest.
But he can be the basement guest. Irene, you want to dig out?
Yeah, I
No.
mean, please,
Please,
don't hurt Ricky. I'll be so sad.
Okay. So.
Okay, okay. Heading
So he
in.
let you
I've got my
and you
cat in.
walked through the
He's
very
in position.
opulent- Okay. So you led through the very opulent hallway that you were in before, which ends with one single door at the back, a beautiful door. And as of course you knock, you hear the voice come from the other side of, "Come in."
You know, I'll just open the door and, do my little, pose thing,
Oh.
pretty silhouette, red and black,
Yeah, he kind
stand by
of
the door, smile.
takes off his glasses, puts them down, and then looks over to you and nods. "Delilah, wasn't expecting you back so soon. You changed your mind? Or what did he say? The limey."
I figured you'd know. Well, if you want to know what the limey wanted to say, unfortunately, well, you have good news and bad news, dear.
All right, let's start with the bad and then we'll get to the good.
Mm-hmm. The bad news is, unfortunately, it seems I'm not even charming enough to convince him, unfortunately. But I am still willing to go on a date if you want. You don't have to let that old man go if you don't want to, but it's been a while. We should catch up, shouldn't we?
Charm check, please.
This is bad. This is what I'm good at, so this is why I'm gonna fail. Okay. Charm. What is it
It's charm. It's
Is
your
it just-
attribute. It's the
okay.
bottom one, I believe, or like second two. It's one of the ones.
wouldn't it be could I make it
You can
seduction?
have
Because she's doing
seduction,
that
sure.
the pretty girl on the side kind of
give you You can
know?
use your seduction skill if you want to sub that out.
So
instead.
is that on top of my attribute as well? Or?
It's just your seduction.
No. So if your charm is
And if
better,
you have any
or
bonuses.
yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, I'll just do my +4.
Cool.
Okay, let me find it. Where are you, dear? Where are you? Where are you, dice? Aha! Dice. 4. Please? 12.
Okay.
You do have a
Would you like to
reroll.
use a second chance?
Yes, please. I would like to
Okay,
convince
go
him
ahead.
to leave with me if possible.
We have 2 of these, so let's see what happens. Ooh, that's
Ooh.
even worse. Would you like to use another second chance?
Yes! I'm using my last of my obsession. I'm taking this man with me. Oh, God. Why does the dice hate me?
I think
Okay,
they
that's slightly
like
better.
you now. Third time's the charm, right?
19. I'll
That is
take my
way
19. No more rerolls
Like,
tonight.
I
but
see it
this
as
is
like the
fine.
outtakes is like you lean against the frame and like slip off slightly and then stumble in. And he's like, "No!" And then the other one is just you don't open the door and
Cut.
goof into it. And then the
Cut.
third attempt, but the real one in this sense, is
Mhm.
that you do lean, you talk to him, and he looks at you, and he kind of chews his lip for a second, and he goes, "You know what, Delilah? I can never say no to you. All right. You know what? I'll do it, but we're gonna need to deal with him another day. But it means I can't give you that offer back. I'm sorry to say, but
I know.
go on then. Why not?"
I was thinking, I'd sweeten you up in case I wanted something from me next time. You know how it is. There's some
It's a good
nice
way of
things
doing
to
it.
get. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And besides, it's probably better because you're probably not having him come back. So, it's
Oh.
probably better to get something new in your life. Or old, as it is.
We'll see. Don't forget, you gotta be a gentleman today. Be
I will
nice.
be the greatest of gentlemen to you, Delilah. You know I will. You know what it was like back then. You know I am.
She
Look,
just
I
let him
know I've had to
strolls
do
on
some bad
over,
things.
She sits on
But
his
I
lap
know.
and just, listens.
Yeah, and he talks to you for a bit, and then eventually he will go out with you. He knows a place, he says, and he'll take you to somewhere nice.
Okay.
And it's about that time that it hits 8 o'clock, And you're leaving as you see Ricky he gestures to one of the other boys and he goes, hey, Bobby, yeah, can you take over? I've got a bit of a thing on. He goes, all right, you have a good night at cards or whatever. Nobody ain't like that. It's date. You? Yeah, me. Shut up, Bobby. He says and starts going out. And he makes his way to the front door and kind of sees you out first, Delilah, as he goes, boss, and opens the door for him as usual. And kind of gives you a nod, Delilah, and goes, I'll tell you about it later.
Oh my god. I'm gonna cry when he goes missing.
Yeah.
And Ricky walks through the building to the back door. And the two of you, Dr. Verrucht and Tilly, the two of you, of course, do see the two of them exit, Delilah and Mickey, who are walking out with a few people tailing them behind, making sure the boss is safe. And Miss Fairchild, where are you positioned? Are you at the back door still, or are you?
Yeah, I would have found a place to stand in the alleyway where I'm not going to be seen, where I've got a good view of the back
Certainly.
door. I'm
So could you give me a very
sneaking
quick
like a
shadow
ninja.
Give me a
Yes.
ninja check, so a shadow check.
Would I add my quiet quality
Always,
to my shadow?
yes.
Mhm.
Add your quiet, always, yeah. You always add your bonus to stealth from quiet because you're just particularly quiet.
Yeah, Magdalena would probably suggest to you that if, possible, so we wanted to do this as subtly and least violently as possible, she'd say, probably rolling her eyes. If she can get the door to stay open long enough, if you could, just hold it open,
Yeah.
she'll distract Ricky away.
Yeah,
cool.
if I see an opening, I would be sneaky.
If there's not an opening, though,
Yeah,
what do
13.
you do?
Would you like to use a? Would you like
Yeah,
to
I'm going to use my I'm going to use my second chance.
You've got half an hour left in the session. You might as well tank them down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Yeah, okay, it's better. That's good.
Blend in. You find some bins at the back. You manage to blend in your dark clothing, easily obscuring you in the night as it's very dim in this alley. And Magdalena, you're stood outside as the door does open, and you see it open. He opens one door and sort of, he kind of looks at you. He looks like he's about to kind of go and close it. What do you do?
I'll step up to him to be like, to meet him in the door, kind of. Did the tick sound like it was more like a key in the door, or did it sound like
it was almost an interior latch?
Okay, that's what I was curious, because if he had a key, I could just take the key off him. Oh, hello.
Hello to you.
It was a couple minutes late. I was worried you weren't going to show up.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to be late. I just had to see the boss out the front. You know how it is. I'm so sorry, Miss Magdalena.
Sure, I'm sure. Well, don't you look dapper?
Oh, well, thank you. He says, kind of a bit embarrassed by it, the massive sort of just a bit like, oh, thank you, bashful a bit about it, because I don't really do this much, so
No, I would have thought big, strong, tall man like you would have women clinging all over him. That is how it is back in home country.
Oh, is it? Well, that's promising, Miss Magdalena. He says and smiles, but no, not so much. Not in my line of work. Unfortunately, I very busy. Don't get to keep many.
You need to remember to take time for self.
This is my first night off in about 3 weeks. I made sure to book it in.
It's tragic, the overworking you.
You know how it is. It's rest for the wicked and all that.
And she's gonna kind of, as she's stepped up to him in the doorway and they're talking. Is there anyone behind him in the hallway?
Anyone behind him in the hallway. It seems to be a door into a bigger open room. The room that you were in before is a side room that you can easily go into.
If that's the case, then she's going to lock eyes and say, I cannot wait to see what we do tonight. And she's going to try to mesmerize him, but in a more pleasant way this time.
Yeah.
Not like,
okay.
So, let me see. I get a lot of bonuses.
I don't know how that works for you mesmerize.
Yes, it is a contested will. I get to add my concentration to it.
You certainly do, and he does not have it. So, Let's see what happens. So he'll roll his, and you'll roll yours.
Yep. Oh. I'm gonna use a second chance.
Might be worse too. They got a 16.
Yeah. 19.
Okay, that's much better. So as you look at him in the eyes again and you activate your vampiric charm, you feel that sort of power rush through you, and he looks you in the eye and he sort of is already taken in by your charm, and this only helps intensify that as he kind of nods. And
She's gonna just beckon as
he
to the
goes
side,
forward.
to the side. It's-
He walks forward
She'll-
and the
she'll
door
walk.
slowly swings shut. Miss Fairchild.
Mhm.
Yes, I would try.
Magdalena's gonna kind of keep the
look
eye contact,
around.
but try to stop it with her shoe and just beckon for Miss Fairchild as well.
Yeah, I
Kinda
would
like
try
it's a
and
both
slip
beckon.
round and just slip something in the door.
Okay, so you
So it doesn't
easily do
close.
that with your check, Miss Fairchild, and just sticking to the shadows, and with Magdalena's gaze completely locking this gentleman in place, as Ricky has no clue what's
Stick
going
a
on.
handle of a cane in the door.
You easily do that, and he doesn't even notice. He doesn't hear the slight of the cane against the door or anything, as he steps out and sort of idly brushes his hand over the door as if to close it, but it doesn't move. And he goes, yeah, I booked a nice place tonight if you want. It's just around.
Yes.
There's a good bar.
Oh, just around the corner. So in case we needed to come back here, it would be very close.
Yeah, it would be, but I mean, this
She's
is a
saying
place
that
of
for Miss
knowledge.
Fairchild's benefit. Yes, let's go there. That sounds lovely. And she'll link arms.
Like it's a family place. It does something called pizza. You might not have had it before. He said
Pizza. Do they cook a man named Pete?
No.
No.
they don't.
Why is it called pizza?
And at that point, you're led around the corner with Ricky in tow,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very
Yeah.
hypnotized by it.
And she'll kind of give a look back, just kind of is like if you need, she's just gonna be around the corner.
And Miss Fairchild, the door is open. You've kept it open, and you're left in the alley alone. You can see inside. You can see the older gentleman who you've been looking for, still tied, sort of blindfolded against the chair, and sort of just mumbling to himself lowly. It won't be long until Robbie's people arrive.
Do I have any kind? Because I have a pocket watch with me. Do I have any kind of time frame as to when?
You do. They're going to be here at 8:10 sharp. It is currently 8:05.
Okay, I'm just going to very quietly slip in and speak to, or at least attempt to speak to, the beaten up old man.
So you find the author that you're looking for. Mr. Fleming is tied and sort of, as he barely hears the ghosts of footsteps, he kind of winces slightly and shifts. Well, please, I can't do any more. Please, just let me go. I'll get the money.
And I just put the curve of my bone-handled cane under his chin and lift it and just like, I am not going to hurt you, but I need answers or people are going to die. I have minutes. The mask of the tortured heart.
You see, he goes to say something and his mouth shuts as he seems to hear that, and he goes, yes, I've studied the thing. Yes, I've studied it. It's out.
Yes.
Then we're all in grave danger.
Yes, I realise that. That's why I'm here.
Please, I have studies. I have documents on it. I have other rooms as well. Home. My study, the desk. Underneath there's a locked drawer, there's a key. It was on me. It might even still be in my pocket.
I will check his pockets very quickly.
You check it, and in the bottom you do find a very small key.
I take it. The dagger and the crown. Are you aware of those?
The dagger and the crown. No, that's very vague. Perhaps I may know. Perhaps.
Be quiet now.
He just nods.
Do not mention my presence. Do not mention the mask.
Of course not.
And I take my cane away. And I go back out the door. And I keep the door open, but I'm waiting for Robbie's men.
And it's only dead sharp on 10 past that you see Robbie walk in. And he has 3 lads behind him who are all kind of walking up. And he kind of gives you a nod and a bit of a smile. Miss
And I
Fairchild,
just open the door with my cane.
oh, you've done a bang-up job, he says, and kind of gives you a nod before he gets walking in. He kind of looks over at John, grab the old man, drag him out, get him to somewhere safe. And then he goes, I've got a meeting with a few people in here. And that's for you, go and get the rest over there. And they begin to go to their jobs and get working. And you're at the door as they walk in and file in. And Robbie gives you one last smile and a nod.
I
You
give
have a
him
good
a
evening.
nod back. You too. Try not to get too hurt. And I turn around and walk away.
Never, he says as the door shuts. Okay.
And I will disappear into the shadows and just keep an eye on the place.
You put on the night. Could you give me another shadow check?
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, that's pretty good. So you manage to blend back in as you go back into somewhere nice that you can view the area from, probably around nearer the front so that you can view it. And you manage to tuck yourself away quite subtly. Nobody's looking at you. And it's about that time that Delilah, you were taken to a very nice restaurant in Tilly, Dr. Verrucht. You've managed to follow a little behind, keeping an eye on them. And you find he takes her to what looks to be a quite small family restaurant. And at the front of it, it has it's got a sign on it, and it says PIZZA, whatever that means. So it's genuine.
Oh my
authentic.
god, it's a double date!
I'll turn to Dr. Verrucht and I'll say, remember, my name is Clarice Postokova. I am a fellow colleague from Russia. I study history and biology. Correct? Excellent. And she offers out her arm.
Okay.
Let us go for pizza.
And
I have
Magdalena,
mentioned it before.
you're sort of walking out as you hear that accent. It sounds like back home.
Yeah, you see, you see like a blonde woman with like bright green eyes and slightly tanned skin, just looking very disinterested.
Do I recognize her as Miss Tilly?
Could you give me a very quick wit check, please, to see through
I
it?
hope yes. She'll also give like a sniff if like the wind's blowing that way. See if it's
Smell the blood.
yeah. 14.
You have no idea who that is.
Okay. Well, if they are getting pizza as well, she's like, is man who own a restaurant named Pete?
No, he ain't named Pete. No,
Why is
he's.
it called Pete. Pizza.
It's just I don't know. It's it's an Italian thing, I think.
Oh, the Italians are very strange.
Enjoy it. It's quite nice. It's quite a quaint food. It's kind of a bit back home where we were. It was quite popular.
I do love quaint food every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. He says and kind of nods. But this place is going to be good. Plus, the boss has booked it out for the evening, so we'll be pretty alone.
Oh, is going to just be us then, and your boss?
In one of the areas, the boss in his private area, and then of course there's a bit for the pet. So we'll have some people in there. He says he heads on in.
What does he do in his private area?
That's a good one. I can't speak about that, even if I'm privy to
Oh.
it. So kind of
Okay.
leads you in. But he gives you a sly smile and leads you in. And he takes you to a table that has a single candle lit on it. And it has a beautiful table on it and some flowers that are arrayed on your side of the table. And he leads you in. And he kind of pulls out your seat for you. And he goes, that's
Thank you.
yours, Miss Magdalena, he says, and kind of holds out the flowers for you.
Oh, these are for me? Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. They are.
You'd be surprised how hard it is to get flowers these days. Ask me about
I
it.
love dead plants. They are great.
Yeah, they're hard to find. not many grow anymore. But yeah, anyway, they're all yours.
Thank you. I'd like to do painting as hobby. Perhaps I will put them in next picture.
That would be amazing. I mean, immortalize them. That'd be real sweet. Thank you. Caesar takes his own seat, and then sort of awkwardly sits for a moment until a waiter comes over and goes, "Oh, could you get us some wine?" Well, I mean, we'll look at the menu. It's fine.
It's not in Italian, is it?
No, it's in.
Oh, good. I do not read Italian.
Yeah, it's in American, he says, and shows you.
It's in American. I do not know if I read American. Oh, English. Yeah. I read that.
Yeah, and you read that. And you have a look through. They've got lots of different types of pizzas there. You can choose what you fancy. Probably stay away from garlic.
Oh, yeah. I probably see, with garlic crust, and I'm like, there's so much here that I'm allergic to.
And meanwhile, Delilah, you've been led into the back where there's a beautiful area just for you. There's sort of a little wooden fence almost with beautiful ivy that's kind of pulled over it. And it looks very, very elegant, though. It's all fake and probably manufactured rather than actually alive.
Yes.
It's hard to grow plants in this day and age. But what you do find is that he's got you a very beautiful table. The wine's already set. There's already food on the table as you arrive. And he takes you in, pulls out your seat, lets you in, and sits down. Meanwhile, Tilly and Miss Fairchild... Tilly and Dr. Baruch. I'm used to you two being the combo, so it's always weird.
Tilly and Fairchild.
I'll see you on tape, Miss Fairchild.
Yeah, kind of looks at you both and goes, "Oh, welcome.
So,
What can I do for you today?"
how do we get in?
Well, you can
Table
just
for two,
ask.
please.
Of course, miss. Follow me. There are 2 sections booked out. We'll have to put you in the public section, he says. We have 2 tables there.
Sure.
It's good.
And he takes you through and sits you down at a quite normal table. There's a cloth over it, and it's a small circle table, and there's 2 seats. And he sits you down, and then he puts a candle there and lights it for you. Please look over the menu. Let us know what you want, he says, and kind of
Do you
walks
have
away.
Prosecco 88 wine here?
We may. I'll check it out for you, he says, and
Thank
gets going.
The doctor
And
leans in.
Magdalene goes sat across the room in a nicer section, and there's all these empty tables, and then there's one filled with this strange lady that you've never seen before, and a very strange black-haired man. Could you give me another wit check?
Yes, I'd love to. Another 14.
Through this, you see Dr. Baruch. You notice his sort of bone structure, and you notice his hair has little streaks in it, and he looks to have done a good job, but and you can
I know
smell
he's
it.
disguised, and I can kind of catch a scent, and I know he's not probably the most social person I've met. Can I deduce that it's Tilly with him?
You can give me an intellect check.
Yes, I have that on this character. Holy shit. Which will get to be +1. Okay. Lilith, so charming but so stupid. 17.
It's strange that Varuk is on a date tonight. Perhaps.
Yes.
Perhaps he's not actually staking out anywhere, and he's decided to go on a secret date to avoid work. Pretty viable.
I can't say I blame him.
No.
And
Maybe
he
this is
and I,
what
we
you
are on the same level, so if he sees me eat this guy, I mean, he's not going to say anything. So, it's not like if Tilly was here.
No, save Ricky, please.
Listen.
Don't eat Ricky!
So,
The doctor does lean in at one point.
but she's definitely staring at them for a minute.
And
Yeah,
then-
she'll
and then-
just look over and raise her eyebrow, one eyebrow up at Mr. Ville,
She'll raise one
You
back.
What, mate?
and then just flick her eyes back to her partner.
You're very good at this.
Thank you.
And that's when I was, I was taken in to study philosophy, but it didn't work out, you see.
No. Oh.
He continues to speak. He's just staring off to the other side, and he's, am I
Philosophy,
boring?
like the Greeks.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually one of the ones we were studying at the time. It was pretty good. But yeah, I'm probably boring here. I'm sorry. Tell me more about you.
Oh, I am just artist. I do
Nice.
art
That's a big
here.
thing. That's really impressive. I mean, I've heard about your pieces, Mr. Ville. They're apparently masterpieces. Privileged to even be here with you. I mean,
I have had lots of practice over years.
oh, I bet. Yeah. All like what, 18 of them?
Something like that. I have youthful face, a little bit older. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 25.
Oh, so young.
Yeah, a bit.
We're the
I
same age.
She's
I don't
just
feel it.
looking at him like, oh, what a stupid little baby. Just so precious. I'm like, oh, you're so young still.
And meanwhile, whilst this is going on, Delilah, you're sat with Mickey. It's sort of, you get your pizza, cuts your slice and puts it on your plate and everything. It's like, see, it's like back home, ain't it? We haven't had pizza in weeks.
Almost.
I mean, they don't do it the same over here. Like, obviously, there's only really this place in the entire city. It's not really an English thing, but I think it'll catch on.
I think so too. Though, are we gonna go all fancy, or can we actually, she's gonna like use her hands like old times?
I see it is. You're used to fancy, but this is home.
Good. She'll very charmingly, take a piece and actually, feed him a little bite before taking a bite herself. Like,
So, what is how's things been? How's Teddy doing?
he's very
Running.
bright. Yes, he's picking up his French quite well, as is Italian. You know me, when I was back in home, how I'd love to study languages.
Yeah, I remember it well. You picked him up pretty well. I mean, I remember when you were first looking at French and things. You were trying to figure out a bit of Italian for opera, I believe. It's pretty nice. I remember those days.
Yeah, still practicing, as you can tell, but that's basically me here. Being a mum, it's quite busy. I'm sure you, however, you've been very busy.
You know me, Delilah, always busy. This place is full of opportunity. I mean, don't get me wrong. Home, way more. But this place, it's got its own charms. Smaller.
Of course.
So it's easier to take over, Less space.
Smaller
in between
pond.
Yeah, I mean, I've already taken out, there were about 5 gangs when I got here that were more major. 3 of them are gone.
Wow, and how did you manage all that? Slides a hand over to place over his, listening.
It's a combination of outsmarting them and outpaying people. Things happen, not polite things, not to the table. But, you just got to play them, outmaneuver them, The only one that's getting me problems recently is that, the one I told you to talk to today. He's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Don't take bells or bribes, and you don't exactly deal with intimidation well. I mean, we tried it. He wasn't very intimidated. Bit weird, if you ask me. But apparently he's a northerner, and apparently that's an issue with them. They're a bit dim. So I've heard.
Well, I think it's less the little dim thing, but those old English stories sometimes we'd read about? I think they're kind of like that with the antiquated views on honor and things like that. I think that's
probably. It's probably some sort of stupid honor thing, I imagine. Yeah. I mean, I still like the idea of the dumb one, but I mean, there's that too these days, and he continues to be.
Dumb and honor don't have to be, different.
So I also like that the Northern English retinue is like, yeah. It's like, he's another old enough and they're like,
yeah. So happy. Represent.
We get so little rep.
Sean Bean. There we go.
That's it, yeah.
I think we do it. Okay. So, and yeah, he kind of continues to eat with you.
During this time,
I mean, I thought you'd have been quite busy, Usually always have excuses. So I wonder what Did you play?
Well, I was hoping I could try to convince you to give me that gentleman anyway.
Why is he so important?
I told you, he's a good writer. He has plenty of good stories. You know how I am with stories.
Yeah,
Besides, I told you I'm looking into something recently. You know how ever since, the whole job thing isn't a thing anymore, for me, I don't really have a job, really. I just come visit you sometimes.
Yeah, I know, I've heard. You only do things and
I
go
get-
around on your phone nowadays.
Yes, well, I got bored, so I got some new friends, and we were doing a little bit of a, hobby. Right now, I'm looking into Curioses. You know how I like to dabble in that kind of hoodoo voodoo things. So they're kind of creepy and kind of interesting.
I know a good place for that. There's just been a museum open like
Yes,
yesterday or the day before. Museum of the Curious, and
I already
go
went.
visit it.
Oh, you should come with me sometime. It's very interesting. They have an adorable bear. I really want that one so terribly
Yeah, I'm
much.
sure I can wrangle some tickets.
Mm-hmm.
All right, date.
Well, maybe next week. This time
Yeah.
I'm free, but next week I'll be more free.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll deal with this. I'll go and deal with that idiot, and then we'll get on with our other one.
All right. And do you think you're going to deal with that idiot nicely enough so he'll keep writing? I do like his stories. Please,
No,
Mickey.
not that one. The other one.
Oh, you're dumb idiot. Yes.
All he did is he didn't pay, and that's
Yes.
stupid. You know, we've roughed him up a bit. We can let him go soon. I think.
Okay.
Probably give you over to him.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah, she,
No problem.
he gives his hand a little happy squeeze, and she's like, okay. Well, speaking of your idiot, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. Speak.
Earlier today, she's trying to charm him into making her seem more trustworthy. There was something interesting that happened. You know how
Yeah.
you like to wear pinstripes?
Yeah, of course. It's
Do the rest of your boys like to follow your lead in terms of that?
only about 2 or 3 of them. Yeah.
That's strange. Well,
That.
I saw something strange when I was over there at Mr. Robbie Carr's.
Yeah.
The glass
What's that?
shattered. A boy in a pinstripe got punched. That was real scary. He spat on Mr. Robbie, you see. And then he got dragged somewhere. I was really scared.
Right. All right.
Does
Hey.
that mean anything to you?
That means something. Yeah, I think I need to go and get the boys. He says that
Are you sure?
he gets. Yeah, I'm sure.
What does
Thanks,
that
Delilah.
even mean?
Look, you can come back with me to the place. We'll go there and then we'll deal with the
But-
rest later. I
But we were
promise I'll
just.
make.
But Mickey, we were just having a nice night. It's been so long.
All right, half
Come
an hour.
on.
Yeah, I mean, he's raised his voice at this point.
I'll call over one of the waiters, about a couple minutes before, and I'll wink at Varuk. Could you please bring a man this bottle of drink? He is shouting a lot, and it is ruining my night. He needs more alcohol in system, so he'd be quiet.
Yes, he says a bit nervously, knowing who Mickey is.
And well, I hear someone from the motherland. Though she looking at me strange. And as she points, she gestures for the doctor to drug the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I will try to.
You've ordered them the bottle, so
And
they
I-
would go and get a new bottle, deliver it to Mickey.
Okay.
They wouldn't bring it to you first and then go to Mickey. So they bring the bottle over
okay.
to Mickey for. And when he sort of stands up and is getting a bit more heated, the bottle arrives and the gentleman goes, Mr. Mickey, sir, you've had a bottle of wine bought for you by the lovely lady over there. What? He says and kind of looks over and he goes, bottle of wine, sir.
Do you think she's trying to? Oh, she laughs up. Maybe she's trying to hit on you, Mickey.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's that, ain't it? He
Oh,
takes the bottle out of the case
stand
and
up.
kind of snaps it out.
You look like
then-
such a lovely couple. I did not want you to have a horrible night. I thought
Oh.
you could do with an extra drink.
Well, give
Thank
me
you.
a charm check on that, please.
Oh no. I am not. It's a +3.
At this point, I break into hives because there's garlic in all Italian food.
Oh, it's just 22.
So he
Really?
kind of looks at you, kind of nods and goes, "Thank you, whoever you are. It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you," he says, and puts it down. Sorry for yelling. It's
No,
really
no.
rude of me.
It gets heated in Russia too. Makes me feel at home, but lady looks too nice to be yelled at, you know.
I'm yelling at her, but thank you anyway, he says, and puts it down and goes, Fine.
So,
Well.
how about this, Mickey? We split this bottle half and half, just like old times. I'll even sing a song.
Tell you what, you got half an hour. We'll have a nice meal. We'll have the wine, and then I got it. Sorry, Delilah, it's business. If he's got one of the boys, I need to go and deal with that. He can't. If he gets stuff out of them, then everything could fall. So I gotta go and deal with it.
So it really was one. Oh, I'm so sorry to bring this up at dinner. I shouldn't have.
It ain't your fault.
I just
Don't
thought
worry
it
about
would be important to you. I'm sorry.
It is important. He says and sits down and uncaps the bottle of wine. Just kind of pours you both a glass and goes, but this is important. And at that point,
Thank
I'll leave
you.
you. Magdalena, on the other hand, Ricky still talks to you for a bit. And he goes, you know, I mean, the boss gets a bit heated about things like that. I mean, I'm sure it's fine, whatever it is. I'm off, so I ain't getting involved.
Yes, do not trouble yourself about it.
How could they do that? They have something beautiful as you in front of me.
Yes, and I imagine that the food's come out and she's just...
Luckily, he's gotten some stuff, and you don't feel weird. You don't feel
good.
alert. Allergies
Good.
kicking in. So I hope you don't mind. I didn't order it with garlic. I have a bit of a allergy to it.
Oh, I have garlic allergy as well. It's very good.
Oh,
Very good.
I mean, I probably should have asked.
I
you,
saw
I'm
there was
sorry.
lots of garlic on menu. Was concerned, but thought I'll leave
Yeah, no,
out. But
You know, they know me here. They know I'm allergic to it, so they don't do that. So
This
thank
is
you very
very-
much.
very good. Very, very reassuring. Very good. So you eat with hands?
Yeah, and he kind of runs you through it, and you have a really nice time, as the two of you.
Yes. And
Mhm.
she'll be like, you know, I read in history book once that back in 1500s, even into 1600s, they did not use utensils. It was all hands
That's interesting. I didn't
in
know
certain
you were.
countries. Or you scoop up with bread.
Oh,
Yes, I
yes.
like history very much.
Oh, so do I, actually. I read on it a bit.
Oh. What kind of
And-
history do you like?
I mainly different types, you know, like I mean, European history mostly. I read into like battles and things like that. Just reading a book actually a week ago. It was about around I forgot what it was, near Romania.
Oh,
they
and
were
was it a clash with the Ottomans or the Turkish?
the Ottomans.
Yes, big classic. Ottoman and Romania. They do not always get along. Turkey switches sides sometimes. Is big thing.
And as you all talk for the rest of the half an hour, and you keep an eye on them, and Delilah, you're distracting Mickey well enough, it's about 10 minutes in that you see somebody run in through the door. They seem sweaty. They've got their jacket off, and they look in, and they just kind of look around for him, and they see Ricky, and they go, Ricky, where's the boss? He's just over there. I mean, what's up? And he kind of looks over his boss. They've got in. They've taken it. Taken what? Stock.
What?
And he stands at that and he goes, Delilah, I'm sorry, I need to go.
Oh, okay.
All right, he says, and he kind of checks his coat and just kind of looks at him and goes, your gun. And at that point, he hands him over a gun immediately. In the openly in the restaurant, and he takes it and kind of puts it in his pocket. And just goes,
Magdalena just looks at Delilah like. "Do you
Well,
wanna
you
take-"
better make it up to me, Mickey.
I will. I promise, Delilah, I will make it up to you. I promise
Alright.
I will make it up to you.
Now go be
And he-
safe, dear.
Begins to head out, and Ricky kind of doesn't go. He kind of looks over and he goes, I should probably get going.
Oh, you had this first night off in 3 weeks. You're just getting into nitty-gritty of the cavalry charge of 1586 into Ottoman Empire territory.
Yeah. Could you give me a charm check?
Oh no. He's into me, right?
You can have +2 and he's into you as well. Yeah.
Okay, I have bonuses for that then.
I love him.
I love him too. I should gonna charm him into killing him. He's gonna cry.
I mean, maybe I won't. He seems like the first decent human I've met in a while, but I might eat Mickey. So I get
Go
okay,
ahead.
that's not bad. That's 2. 14. I'll try my last reroll.
Yeah, do your last reroll. Do your last second chance here.
My last second chance. I could roll better maybe. Or I could roll worse, we'll see. Same thing. I keep rolling same thing. 14's
The
not bad
face
though.
aside, same thing.
And
And she's
Dr.
not afraid to use her gaze if necessary too.
Okay, in that case then. As you're using your gaze on him, and you had a very, very good success with that before, and as you've managed to get a 14, he looks at you, and he kind of goes, yeah, you know what?
I'm
Yes,
sure
my
they
eye
can
out.
handle. They are big, strong boys. I'm sure.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can
if
handle.
boss needs me, he'll find me. He didn't ask for me, he walked out.
He didn't. You were right here, and you can't miss you.
Yeah, clearly not. He says, the slap of a man that's still there, and he kind of looks at you and goes, right, you got me. He says, and kind of puts a hand over the top of one of yours. So,
Hmm.
how about we eat this, get some dessert? Do you like ice cream?
Ice cream. I have had a couple times. It's very cold. Very cold.
Yeah, it is. It is. And after that, we can go wherever you'd like.
Yes.
Can walk you back to your manor.
Yes, I
Wait.
do live in this area of town.
Yeah, I know. We all know you.
You
I
all
don't
know
believe
me. That is.
Steal sheep.
I have no idea how that got started.
And as your night continues and your date continues, and as Mickey leaves and leaving the three of you sat in the restaurant aside from Magdalena, who is currently preoccupied.
Mhm.
That is what we're going to call this stuff.
as when they get up and start to leave, that's when the doctor would lean into Tilly and be like, "Is now the time for this distraction?"
I think so, yes. Your turn, Doctor.
And that's what we'll call it. So, thank you very much, everybody, for watching tonight, and thank you everybody for playing. It's always good. We're going to go around. We're running a bit over today. I'm sorry about that, but if we go around, have everybody basically tell us what their favorite moment was, where we can find you, anything you're working on, and then of course we'll go and do our final part of today's session, which is a vote to see who will be redeemed today and lose 1 point of corruption.
All right.
So, Delilah.
All right. Hi everyone. As you know, as always, I am Laura Lark on Instagram and Lark Laura on Twitter, and I've played Delilah Berkeley today. Wow. Favorite? Can I put my favorite character? All right. So my favorite character today is Ricky. He is Puppy, and what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna start, rallying for his survival here. Like, 1 vote for Ricky to live, please, Magdalene.
His baby.
I want him so bad to live. He does philosophy and he's adorable. He never gets to go on a date. Don't let his first date forever end in death. Anyways, so my
First date, last
impassioned. Oh, no! No. Okay. Whew. So that's my favorite character. Throughout the entire session, it was super great. I really enjoyed all the interactions as always. And, Magdalena and Dr. Varut in particular were like a riot. Of course, Miss Charfetron was badass as always. So there's just way too much for me to talk about what I loved about the session. So really looking forward to next session. Feeling kind of bad for lying to Mickey for the first time in my 9 years of knowing him. Yes, Delilah's 25. There it is. And
Oh, baby.
Yeah, they should just saying
Sweet
Jen should totally
babies.
share birthdays with Ricky just to make it more emotional. They celebrated their birthdays together.
You are only
You know?
quarter century old. How you are just babies. Oh.
Yes, basically, we're quarter-century-old babies. You're gonna kill a quarter-century-old baby. Now,
Killed actual
Okay.
babies, fine.
yes. Still, yeah, that's me. I'm Laura Lark. You'll find me on, of course, Instagram, Twitter, and usually I'll be posting up, pictures or music videos, whatever I like. And yeah, that is me.
Thank you for playing. And Magdalena.
Yes, that was so much fun. I adore Ricky. Magdalena thinks this is the most interesting human she's probably met in a century. But that story she told about her father taking in her suitors and making her watch him kill them, that was because that when she was in her first century and a half of life, she was into humans, and he had to teach her that their lives are so finite and fickle and not to get attached. So she's feeling conflicted right now, and she does have a wonderful Dampier lover. So I'm thinking maybe, since things don't look so good with Mickey, maybe she as much as she hates it, maybe she'll get another servant at the house. I'm sure we can find something for him to do. But she probably actually have to pay this one a wage. She's like, do they use ducats, florins? What is the currency here this century? I don't know. She'll figure it out. She'll figure it out by next week. But yeah, that was so much fun. I can't even pick a favorite moment. There were so many good moments, and I loved the meeting with Robbie Carr and just Dr. Vrooks being like, yeah, why didn't we just kill him while we were there? I thought
Lack of morality
inside my
central.
heart. And Tilly just being like, I'm going to go to get a drink. I'm going to go to the restroom. That was also my favorite Tilly moment, I think, of the season so far. Like, I'm just not going to, what I don't know can't hurt me right now. And it was great. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. I play and NGM a lot of tabletop RPGs, including 2 weekly shows on my channel, Mondays in Exandria and Mists of Ravenloft, which is super spooky. So if you like this kind of stuff, there's much Ravenloft fun to be had. And of course, I'm here also on this channel on every Tuesday for Tentacle Tuesday, which is Call of Cthulhu. So yeah, there's that.
Brilliant. It's always amazing to have Magdalena. And speaking of amazing, Fairchild.
Hello,
Thank you.
I am Shakes, also known as Shakespeare. It's so awesome to be here. I love every minute of it. My favorite moment has got to be the refined, gentle sheep. That entire
Oh my
segment,
god.
I was dying. And also just Vlad. Just that whole thing. I was just like, please tell me sheep. And it was just like from the slow pan down from the painting to the sheep in his outfit. It was everything I wanted. Also, Ricky is baby, and we need to keep him because I love him. Also, just the slow realization that I felt dawning on Delilah's face as she realized that the only moral compass had left the table. Because I thought Tilly was the only one who would object to murder. And then Delilah was like, really? And I was like, oh no, we've got 2 of them. So that was absolutely wonderful. It's magnificent finding out how many chaotics you've got. I am
for sure.
Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter at Shakespeare and on Instagram. I post very random stuff, and I'm in a bunch of games. You can find all my information on Twitter.
Brilliant. And Tilly Griffiths, thank you for playing.
Hello, I've been Humbledore playing Tilly Griffiths, one of the 2 moral compasses that might get very broken in the company of these people. We'll have to see. I can't pick a favourite moment, as everyone else. I'd just like to say thank you to the GM for being awesome. So many voices, so many characters. It's a pleasure to play in the world. So, plus Dracula sheep. What more can you want from a game, really?
Yeah. Gotta have standards.
The sheep lord is with us.
Yeah. Lord
Indeed.
Bark and Lord R.
Lord Bar are very much ready to go. But thank you very much for playing. And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Humbledore6. Sometimes I post up. I'll be posting up writing stuff. I'm also dabbling in drawing at the moment, so I might, if I get brave, post some drawings up.
Okay, brilliant. And Dr. Verrucht, last but not least. Great. Thank you for
Graybeard.
playing.
Oh, always. Graybeard to Graybeard Tavern. I absolutely adored. There was tons, but the amazing just character change of Tilly was, I bow. That was fantastic. You were just that other character, and not only as a player, but also as the doctor was confused completely because he wanted to go to dinner to you and talk about your condition and stuff, and he was just thrown off by the fact this was another person he was with. So yeah, that was beautiful. I did, the Academy Award. Here you go. Yeah, but other than that, thanks for letting me play. Everybody's is great. I look forward to this every week. So take it away.
Okay, certainly. And speaking of taking it away, we'll go to the spooky screen here. And, so this week we have voted not on corruption, as not always is it that we corrupt our people that we have in this group, but on redemption. Seeing who you have deemed, who the Sheep Lords or Lord Bach, or perhaps even something else has deemed worthy of redemption. And today, perhaps with Ricky melting a part of that cold, cold heart, Magdalena loses one corruption. Thank you, everybody who voted, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. And I'm going to throw us over to a very quick message from the sponsors of the show, and then we'll see you soon. So thank you very much, everybody, and beware what goes bump in the night. Good night.
Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.